is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Tonight's series here in Cleveland can only be described as huge, and here's why. As we check out the standings in the American League, the Tigers right now trailing the Indians by 6 in the Central and 2 games behind the Blue Jays for the wild card. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us here for Game 1 in what will be a big 3-game weekend series here, Rod. And I'm not sure you can describe it any other way, but it's about as big as it gets right now for this team.
Well, there's no doubt about that, especially huge for the Tigers. They need to at least win 2 of the 3 games here over the weekend. If you're the Cleveland Indians, not so big for you because you have a pretty good lead right now, but they'd like to put the Tigers away so they can start to look toward postseason, but this should be an entertaining series.
All right, we do have one thing tonight, and that is a great, and I mean great, pitching matchup. You got Corey Kluber going. He's been outstanding in the second half, and Michael Fulmer, well, he's been good all year.
Well, you talk to some people here that watch the Cleveland Indians on a nightly basis, and they will tell you that Kluber is pitching as well right now as he pitched a couple of years ago when he won his first Cy Young. Take his number, look at his numbers since the All-Star break, a 2.14 ERA, which is outstanding. Power fastball, 95, 96, lots of cutters, and a white bounce slider. When you start talking about Michael Fulmer, he's just a few innings shy of challenging for the ERA title. He's looking at winning a Rookie of the Year. Also, he's looking at getting his team off to a really good start here tonight in the first game of the series against a very difficult opponent right here in their home ballpark.
All right, now Corey Kluber should not feel bad about this, but Miguel Cabrera kills him. I mean, but the numbers, and Miguel Cabrera kills a lot of people. The numbers, though, really are eye-popping.
You know, it's ridiculous the way that he beats up on Corey Kluber, and Corey Kluber is one of the best pitchers in our sport, and he's right-handed. He throws 95, 96, but you gave the numbers. 5 homers, 10 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,300. Miguel Cabrera really just every step of the way, whether it's fastballs up, in, out, down, whether they're breaking balls, he just wears Corey Kluber out. And Corey Kluber has said as much. He says when Miguel Cabrera comes, he doesn't matter what he throws to him, he's still going to barrel it up. He's still going to hit it very hard. We'll watch that confrontation very closely here tonight.
All right, buckle up. Should be a really big 3-game series and a fun series here this weekend. After a short break, we'll send you back to the Coliseum Studios. Check in with Johnny Kane, but coming up tonight is finally here, a big series for the Tigers. Game 1 coming up, Kluber and Fulmer. Stay with us. Tigers baseball coming up next.
Goes. It is drilled deep to right field. That ball is to the track. It is to the wall. It is a 4-homer inning for the Indians.
It's true. The season series against the Indians has been ugly.
Got him. Strike 3. Cabrera caught looking to end the ball game.
But that's the past. And as they say, the present is here, so live it.
High fly ball right field.
Way back.
Yes.
See the wall and gone. Justin Upton has done it yet again. 7 games remain with Cleveland, and all we really have is now.
Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Fulmer great again here today.
And Michael Fulmer will take them out tonight for the Tigers as we get you ready for baseball tonight. Game 1 in this big 3-game series. Tigers and the Indians from Progressive Field here in Cleveland. Here is the starting lineup for the visiting Tigers tonight, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Ian Kinsler, Cameron Maybin, Miguel Cabrera in your top 3 spots. Victor Martinez DHing. JD is in right. Upton is in left. And you've got Ibar at short tonight in place of Iglesias, McCann, and Romine, who has been pretty hot with the bat of late in his last 12 games with an at-bat. And they are facing the right-handed offerings tonight of Corey Kluber.
And tough assignment tonight for the Tigers batters. In 29 starts this year, Kluber 16-9 overall. He's got a fastball that gets all the way up to 96 miles an hour with tremendous movement. He'll cut the fastball. He'll throw you a curveball and an occasional change. And he has been one of the best pitchers in our sport since the All-Star break.
30 years of age, out of Jacksonville, Florida. Corey Kluber is set to go to work. Brad Ausmus and the crew know that this is a huge 3-game series here. Tigers starting up a road trip, which will also bring them through Minnesota. But first things first, as Ian Kinsler stands in, we are ready for baseball tonight. And here's the first pitch of the ball game. Kinsler takes one up and in at the chin. 1 ball to no strikes on the Tigers leadoff man.
Well, if you're Ian Kinsler, you pretty much know you're going to get a fastball here, and Ian Kinsler has been an outstanding fastball hitter all season long.
He'll look at a ball on the outside corner, and the count goes to 2-0 on Ian. Kinsler batting .280, 26 home runs. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Ian looks at a ball outside. 3-0 on the Tigers leadoff man.
That last pitch that Kluber delivered there to Ian Kinsler at 88 miles an hour was his cut fastball. You can see there's a big difference between his cutter and his slider.
Here's a strike called. Up at the right hand goes Tim Timmons. Kluber has been their best in the second half. An ERA is smidge over 2 after the All-Star break this year. There's a foul down the right field line, back out of play, and the count fills now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Where would this Cleveland Indians team be without Kluber? Because they've had some inconsistencies in their rotation. Salazar now on the disabled list. Second time he's landed on the disabled list. Bauer wasn't even in the rotation at the beginning of the year. Tomlin has struggled lately, but Kluber has been the one constant in that rotation all season.
And in some ways you can say that about both starting pitchers tonight. Fulmer for the Tigers and Kluber for the Indians.
That's right.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out after falling behind 3-0. He got Kinsler.
Let's take a look at the Cleveland Indians starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Left to right, they've got the newly acquired Coco Crisp as 6th start with the Cleveland Indians. Naquin in center, Almonte in right. Ramirez, Lindor, Kipnis, Napoli round out the infield, and Perez is the catcher putting down the fingers tonight for the starter Corey Kluber.
Here's Cameron Maybin batting in the 2 slot tonight for the Tigers. He's safely in his last 3, batting .318 for the year, and he'll look at a strike on the outer edge. Maybe not so sure about that last call from Timmons. Cameron, a little bit of power. He'll get you every now and then. 3 homers on the year. Swings right through it, and the count is 0-2.
And mostly fastballs thrown here so far by Kluber. In 93, that last tailing fastball in on the hands of Maybin.
Pretty good gathering here tonight in Cleveland, making some noise early. The 0-2 pitch is just off the plate.
It's encouraging to see the fans show up for the Cleveland Indians. They've had an outstanding year. They've been in first place by themselves for the last 104 days. But the fans, they really have not backed this team all year.
Maben looks at a strike, got him looking, and he thought that one was outside as well, but not so, says Tim Timmons. 2 gone.
It's going to be a long night for the Tigers hitters if Fulmer continues to get these pitches. That's a fastball that looks like it's up and outside, and it's pulled down nicely by Perez, the catcher, to get the call out of the home plate umpire, Tim Timmons. That looked like a ball.
So with 2 outs, here is Miguel Cabrera, who gets a frosty reception here. Miggy batting .308. 1 RBI shy of tying DiMaggio for 48th all time. And Cabrera looks at ball 1 outside. Well, the Bernstein advantage brings you the pitcher batter matchup between Kluber, Miggy, and Vemart. And when you look at these guys, the middle of the Tigers lineup and what they've done against Corey Kluber, you would expect, or at least hope, that tonight they'll carry on.
Yeah, hopefully they can lead by example here tonight. The big fella, Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez. You wouldn't expect anybody to have those kinds of numbers against Corey Kluber, as good as he is.
Miggy stepping out of the box momentarily. Kluber has fanned Kinsler and Maben to start this ball game, and Miggy drives one in the air to center field. Naquin going back, has room, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 first inning for Corey Kluber. The first inning in game 1 of this series, the Indian starting lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, and for Cleveland it'll be Santana, Kipnis, and Lindor in the top 3 spots. Napoli having a great year cleaning up, and Ramirez also having a terrific season. Newly acquired Coco Crisp, and then Naquin, Almonte, and Roberto Perez. Meanwhile, the right-hander Michael Fulmer presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Fulmer has been outstanding this year in the 23 starts. 15 of those have come away from Comerica Park. He's gone 10-6 with a 2.76 ERA. Overall, they're hitting just .219 against a very talented rookie right-hander.
So now Carlos Santana leads it off. They will shift against him defensively, and he looks at ball 1. Santana batting .243. He has 31 home runs this year, and that represents a career high. He'll drive that one to center field. Maben is moving back, still going back, looking up to the wall to make the catch. Cameron Maben goes to the center field wall to take one away from Santana. Ball seemed to jump on him right at the end.
Cameron appeared to be playing very deep against Santana anyway, which made it not such a difficult catch for him, but a nice play. And Michael Fulmer loves it.
That'll bring up Jason Kipnis. Kipnis is at 277. Good power numbers this year as well. 22 home runs. And he will take ball one.
The Cleveland Indians, up and down their everyday lineup, they've had some nice contributions from everybody. I know Napoli's having the big year with the 33 homers and nearly driving in 100, but they've had some nice contributions from everybody, and Kipnis included with the 22 homers and 77 driven in.
Yeah, we're talking about all these second basemen that have hit home runs this year. Kinsler and Altuve and Odor and on. We failed to mention Kipnis, who's got 22 of his own. It'll dive low. 2 balls and 1 strike on Kipnis.
It's been a different position this year. It's been a long time since we've seen second baseman hit with this kind of power in the big leagues.
Little tap foul right at home plate, and the count now is 2-2 on Kipnis.
Outstanding changeup there thrown by Michael Fulmer, and really since he has brought out this changeup, it has been a tremendous pitch for him. And he's not afraid to throw that changeup for the first pitch of an at-bat. He's not afraid to throw it to right-handers. He's not afraid to throw it when he's behind in the count. Tremendous confidence in that pitch for Michael.
Right back up the middle into center field. That'll be a base hit. Kipnis is aboard with 1 out.
Let's take a look at the Tigers' starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. And they've got Upton in left, Cameron Maben in center, J.D. Martinez, he is in right. They've got Ibar at the shortstop position tonight, Kinsler at second, Romine at third, Miguel over at first base, and James McCann is behind the plate. He's done wonderful work throwing out would-be base stealers this year, and he might have to throw out Kipnis. This Cleveland Indians team leads the American League in steals.
Yeah, Kipnis has been among their best base stealer this year, so we'll keep an eye on him.
Does that shock you, though, they lead the American League in steals with 116?
Absolutely. I would not have guessed the Indians. Lindor, terrific hitter, looks at a strike on the outer edge.
It'll be very difficult for Kipnis on first base to steal, but we'll watch to see if he wants to challenge McCann. You know how good McCann is behind the plate and his throwing ability, but Fulmer's only allowed 2 stolen bases this year in 23 starts, so apparently he gives McCann plenty of time to throw.
Yeah, not a good combination tonight for the Indians if they think about running. Kipnis has 12 of them this year. He's been caught only 3 times. Lindor can hit for power, can hit for average. He is among the best shortstops in the league, finishing second in the Rookie of the Year voting last year, and he is everything the Indians thought he would be and then some.
Yeah, he's a star, and there's no doubt about that.
The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike on Lindor.
And so far, Fulmer doing a very nice job at making sure that Kipnis cannot get a good jump from first base. He wants to keep his double play in order. And strangely enough, as we look at Lindor's numbers since he came to the movies last year, his ranks, he's pretty good. But he has grounded into surprisingly 18 double plays this year.
Whoa. One is hammered down the right field line. It's going to drop, base hit. Kipnis on his way to third base. That's a single for Lindor, and the Indians now have runners at first and third, 1 out.
Well, if you're Michael Fulmer and James McCann, you already have to make an adjustment here today, partner. 3 batters in. Santana got a fastball. He hit it very hard to center field. Kipnis also barreled up a fastball, and then there's a fastball right there at 93 to the youngster Lindor. So apparently they're hunting fastballs here in the very first inning. So Fulmer's got to make some adjustments here. He's got to go changeup. He's got to go slider to get him off of that heater.
Well, here's the good news. He has a good changeup and a good slider.
He does have that, because they haven't missed the fastball yet.
Now Mike Napoli stands in. Career highs in homers and RBIs this year for Napoli. Early scoring chance for the Indians. And Napoli looks at a strike, 0-1.
Lindor also has pretty good speed on the base paths. He has stolen 17 this year.
Napoli has bounced into 13 double plays, in case you're wondering. He has not been swinging the bat all that well of late. 4 for 24 in their recent road trip. Runner goes, swing and a miss, no throw down to second. Lindor dives in with a stolen base.
This Cleveland Indians team, for whatever reason, partner, they play with a tremendous amount of energy here in this particular ballpark. They're very aggressive. They're just a 500 team on the road, but they're nearly 25 games over 500 here at home, and they play just a different brand of baseball. And if you look up and down the batting order, guys' numbers are much better at home than on the road.
Yeah, I was noticing that filling up the lineup card today. Most of their guys, or at least a good portion of them, are over 300 and some well over 300.
Killing the ball here.
Napoli takes low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Napoli in the month of September is batting just 130. So while he is having a career year, he has cooled here in September.
This would be huge for Fulmer if he's able to strike out Napoli, because that would allow Osmus to at least think about walking the on-deck hitter. That would be Ramirez, who's been lights out with runners in scoring position all year. Ooh.
Off the outside corner. Man, was that close.
He gave that pitch to Kluber last half inning against Maben, looked like to me.
Yes, he did.
If you do go fastball here to Napoli, you got to go above the belt buckle. He's a good low ball hitter, but he doesn't handle fastballs upstairs. And if you do throw the slider, obviously you got to bury it down to the bottom of the zone.
Now Napoli given time at home plate. Early chance here for the Indians. Rod was mentioning their home record. This is a team that is 47 and 25 in this yard.
Yeah, the 47 wins are the most in the American League, tied with the Texas Rangers.
High towering fly ball left field. Coming over is Upton. He can't find it, and it's over his head.
It's a ground rule double.
That thing bounced into the seats. It's going to be a ground rule double, and Upton never saw it.
Wow.
How about that?
Is it going to be one of those kind of nights?
Oh my goodness. Upton appeared to just have a beat on that ball, no problem. Then the hands went up. I thought he was bluffing initially, but he never saw it.
He has no shot right now. And I thought he was bluffing initially myself, but I'm thinking to myself, well, that ball's deep enough to where even if you are deking, he's going to score anyway because Kipnis has good speed.
So the stolen base becomes big because now that ground rule double scores 2 instead of 1. And the Indians are off to a good start here tonight, and out to the mound, Rich Doobie trying to slow things down for Fulmer. Boy, you hate to see that. That was an out. It may have scored the run, probably would have scored the run. But it's a much different scenario now. There's still only 1 out. Here is Jose Ramirez. 352 with runners in scoring position this year. He's just been money all season long for them. Inside, bouncing in, 1 ball to no strikes.
You're never going to replace an all-star like Michael Brantley. But Ramirez this year, he tried his best to do that with all the different positions that he played, with his batting average this year. Tough to strike out. You gave the numbers with runners in scoring position. Where did this guy come from?
Well, it's amazing because when you compare his numbers from last year to this year, they are way up in terms of driving in runs, home runs as well, batting average. And he may have bounced that one off his foot and or leg.
It's a beautiful night here, about 75 degrees.
Nice night, big crowd, and unfortunately the Indians a lucky bounce on the lost ball and left by Upton. They scored 2 in the ground rule double. helpless feeling out there for Jay Up. Here's the 1-1. Rolled foul, 1-2. What a big at bat that turned out to be, Rod, because Fulmer got Napoli 0-2 in the count, and then the ground rule double happens.
Yeah, that would have scored the 1 run, but they would be a runner on second with nobody out. And then you could have chose to, like I said before, either pitch around Ramirez to get to Chris if he wanted to do that, because this guy's been driving in a lot of runs this year. Fulmer has to be careful. He's got that base open.
Line foul out of play.
This kid just doesn't strike out very often. Iglesias is the toughest in the American League to strike out, but I think this cat right here, Ramirez, is the 4th or 5th toughest to strike out.
Yeah, 4th toughest. So he puts the ball in play. Here's some of the ranks for Ramirez. 316 when he's behind in the count. That is a telling stat there.
Good hand-eye coordination.
Did he hold up? Yes, he did. Down at third base. Pat Hoberg said he did not go. 2-2. Waiting on deck, the newly acquired Coco Crisp, who began his career here in Cleveland. Popped up, shallow right field. Kinsler going back. It's Martinez coming in. JD will haul it in. It's the second out of the inning. Here are the field conditions tonight, presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. Rod was mentioning this. It is 76 degrees tonight. I mean, absolutely perfect. It feels tremendous. It's 69% humidity, but about as nice a night as we've had here in Cleveland in a long time.
Yeah, middle of September. And pennant race is on. Tigers trying to get to that wild card or chase down the Indians. And the Indians in first place and have been in first place in the Central for a long time.
So here is Coco Crisp, 12 homers this year between Oakland and Cleveland. Ground ball, second base. That should get him out of the inning. Kinsler will throw him out. And the side retired. 2 runs on 3 hits. We go to the second.
Play of the game. We told you several Tigers have real good numbers against Corey Kluber, and one of those would be Victor Martinez, to the tune of a .313 batting average, 10 for 32, 3 homers, and he's punched him out 4 times. So Victor, another one that has some real good numbers against Corey Kluber.
It'll be Martinez to get it started here for the Tigers in a 2-0 game. The ground rule double lost in the lights by the left fielder Upton, allowing a couple of runs to score. Victor getting things started here. And he'll roll the first one foul, 0-1.
And the Indians play the same type of shift on Victor Martinez when he's batting left-handed, as most opponents do. But their shortstop, Lindor, just kind of slides over to the second base position. And the reason for that is Ramirez, who's playing third today, is a natural shortstop. So no issues for him handling that side of the diamond.
Here's the 0-1 from Kluber. Chop to the right side on the backhand there, Napoli. He'll take it himself, one gone. Victor's out 3 unassisted. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. J.D. Martinez.
For the most part, Corey Kluber does not throw anything straight. His four-seam fastball, he throws that about 20% of the time. It's mostly cutters, an occasional sinker. He's got that slider that he likes to throw as well. And he's one guy that's been elevating the fastball quite a bit this year and getting swing and misses like everybody else.
Well, the Tigers are going to have to find a way to get to Kluber in 2 starts this year against the Tigers. Just 1 run in 18 innings now.
That's pretty much what all the starters have done against the Tigers this year.
Here's the 0-1. Bouncer slowly back up the middle, Lindor ranging left. 2 up, 2 down. Here's the Chevy Silverado most dependable player, Corey Kluber. Really, when you go back to 2014, Rod, he has been among the best in the American League.
Yeah, 2014 is when he captured his first Cy Young. And there are many people here that say that he is pitching as well now, the second half of the year, as he did the second half of 2014 when he was able to snatch that award from Felix Hernandez, who looked like he was going to win it that year. If my memory serves me correctly, partner, that was one of the closest Cy Young Award voting numbers in the history of the game.
Yeah, it was. And I remember you and I were talking about that. Who should win it, Felix or Kluber? And we both were kind of like, well, it's pretty close. There's a swing and a miss. I think if you eventually looked at the secondary numbers that Kluber put up.
Yeah, Felix had that one bad start late in the year, and it was in Toronto where he gave up 8 earned runs, and that pretty much allowed Kluber to win the award that year.
Here's the 0-2. Driven to right center field. That ball is hit well. It's got a chance to go, and it does.
Ooh.
Upton put a charge into that one to right center on an 0-2 pitch, and the Tigers are on the board.
You don't see Jay Up go against the traffic like that with that kind of authority. That ball had some tremendous backspin on it.
Number 23 for Justin Upton, and the Tigers get their first run.
He doesn't hit many like this, Mario. 0-2 two-seam fastball that he got right underneath, and he caught it just right. And the backspin on that ball carried it line drive variety out of here to right center field. And the outfielders barely moved.
No, not at all. An impressive home run the other way, and there's a line drive to center field, a base hit for Ibar.
Imagine that.
So Eric Ibar, who got the start tonight in place of Iglesias because he hits Kluber well, continues that.
Number 34, the catcher, James McCann.
2-1 ball game. Not really a good 0-2 pitch there for Kluber on Upton.
It's the 4th homer this year for Justin of his 23. And the opposite way.
Going to bring up McCann now. The tying run is on for the Tigers after 5 in a row were retired by Kluber. He's given up a couple of hits. A little bit outside. 1 ball and no strikes on McCann. James at .225 this year with 11 home runs. That home run by Upton quieted the crowd significantly. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. 44 driven in this year for the Tigers backstop. And McCann looks at ball 3 down low as Kluber again just misses, not getting the benefit of the calls from Tim Timmons. 3-0. Perez flashing signs tonight. The Indians got bad news on Yan Gomes, who was supposed to be activated this evening. And there is ball 4. He walked him on 4 straight. So the Tigers now have 2 men on.
What was the reading on Yan Gomes? He got hit last night, right?
Fractured wrist.
Oh my goodness.
Gomes was on a rehab, was supposed to be activated off a shoulder injury tonight, as a matter of fact. And then in his last rehab start, he got hit with a pitch.
Yeah, that's a tough break.
So they'll be without Yan Gomes the rest of the year. Really without their best pitcher, Salazar, and their best catcher, Gomes.
Romine had a real nice homestand. He hit .500 on the just recent Tigers homestand, 5 for 10. So hopefully he can continue that. Not to mention he made just about every play defensively, and he ran the bases very well.
Meanwhile, Kluber is not getting the benefit of calls that are on the edge. Upton giving the Tigers their first run with a home run to right center.
And I know he's thrown 5 straight balls, but if he throws that fastball right down the middle to Romine, Romine might as well take a swing at it.
He does, and he shoots it towards second. Ooh, nice play there by Kinsler. Quick throw, and they got him.
Ooh, nice job there by Napoli finding the bat.
Kept the swat. Kinsler out his lead. 4-3 on that putout, but jab goes deep. Put a charge into one to right center field. Nicely done. Tigers on the board. Back 2-1 is our score as we go to the bottom of the second here in Cleveland on a great night for baseball. Big crowd still filing in here at Progressive Field. We've already had some fireworks. The home run by Upton the other way puts the Tigers on the board. Here's Tyler Naquin to lead things off, and he takes a strike from Michael Fulmer. Naquin, Almonte, and Perez, bottom 3 for Terry Francona. Been a really good rookie year for Naquin. 300 batting average. He'll loop that one into shallow center field, and it's going to drop. Base hit right in front of Cameron Maybin. Leadoff single for the Indians. That is their 4th hit already. bring up Almonte. Playing out in right field tonight. "55 games this year, 21 RBIs for Almonte, who was on the restricted list for the first 80 games this year.
Which means he will not be eligible for postseason play this year. That's one of the reasons why they acquired Coco Crisp.
Romine in tight at third base on the cut of the grass. Leadoff single by Naquin here in the second. And a ball outside to Almonte. Indians coming off a road trip in which they hit just .228. And they struggled to put some runs on the board against a Chicago White Sox team that beat them again yesterday. Naquin draws the throw.
We're talking about the fact that they're nearly 25 games over 500 at home, but they're 37-37 on the road. But surprisingly, Mario, the 37 victories that they have are more than any other American League team,
Really?
American League Central team on the road. And which is one of the reasons why they're still dominating the division.
Yeah, 6-game lead coming in. Swing and a miss. Well, despite these numbers here, with the Indians holding on to a 6-game lead and having been in first place much of the year, they are still averaging a little over 19,000 per home game here, which is almost to the bottom. Only the Rays' home average is lower. The 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, and that one looked like it had the edge, but not so.
It might be a pretty good time to throw an off-speed pitch here. A change-up, see if you can get him to roll over something. Almonte on the ground. Yeah, that could have been a strike.
Perez, the number 9 hitter, waiting on deck. That'll miss outside, and now the count goes to 3-1. Fulmer threw 22 pitches in that first, and was the victim of a ball lost out in left field, which dropped in and went for a double and 2 RBIs. The 3-1. Line to left field, slicing in for a base hit. Naquin takes the turn and holds at second, and the Indians now have 2 on, nobody out.
That's a nice piece of hitting there by Almonte. The first 4 pitches of the pitch sequence were all fastballs, and he comes back with a 3-1 changeup, but he left the changeup up long enough for Almonte to stay back and slice the ball the opposite way. It's a nice job of hitting there by Almonte.
Lefties came into this game batting just a .188 against Fulmer. Well, we know this, Rod. Fulmer right now is reaching heights in which he has not been at before in terms of innings pitched, and going deep into September here in the middle of the pennant race. And they have asked an awful lot of this rookie this year, and they're going to continue to do so against the final 2 weeks.
Yeah, they've leaned on him heavily this year. In his last 5 starts, I mean, he's gone up against teams like Texas, the Boston Red Sox, the Baltimore Orioles, now going up against this team here tonight, the Cleveland Indians. And he's met every challenge every step of the way.
Here is Perez, the catcher, with nobody out. Showing bunt. He'll drop it down, and it's going to be a fair ball. Now they'll throw to first base. And the sacrifice will advance the runners. It looked like he wanted to go to third.
And not a great bunt here by Perez, but he gets the job done. When McCann comes out, he looks toward third base. And it appears that he may have had some time there, but a pretty good break there by Naquin. And by the time Romine got back to the bag, McCann thought the best option was to take the sure out at first base.
So put him at second and third now. Bring up the top of the lineup, Carlos Santana. Playing to pull on Santana, who hit one to the wall in center field in the first inning. Ball one. His 31 homers this year is a club record for switch hitters.
And Fulmer just 5 of 10 in first pitch strikes so far here tonight, which is one of the reasons why. And Cleveland's gotten some pretty good swings against him. He's been behind most of the night. I think McCann noticed something out at second base that Almonte was doing and quickly came out of his crouch and quickly strolled out to the mound, the whole time staring at the base runner Almonte on second base.
You remember that play with Rios in KC?
I do remember that.
When he simply walked out to the mound and stared at Alex Rios, he knew he was trying to relay signs. And McCann's not afraid to do that. And it looked like he might have been doing that right there. One 1-0 on Santana. New good pitch. What are some of the ways that runner out there at second will try and relay signs? I mean, obviously you can't be very obvious about that.
Well, when you get out there and you get your lead, you can either put your hands, both of your hands on your thighs. You can put your hands outside your thighs, which means the ball's outside. You can turn your head to the right, which means the ball's outside. If you turn your head to the left, that means the ball's inside. So there's several things that you could do out at second base to kind of disguise the ways that you might be trying to relay location to the hitter. I mean, you can also pick up some dirt and kind of throw the dirt to the right, which means the ball's away. Or you can throw the dirt to the left back towards second base, which indicates inside to the left-handed batter. So there's several ways of doing it and getting away with it. You just can't do it out like Almonte apparently was trying to do it.
Meanwhile, 2-1 on Santana. In there, strike called.
It's a good fastball at 94 on the inside part of the plate.
2-2. Indians have the lead early on in this one. We're in the bottom of the second in Cleveland. Game 1 in this 3-game series. Bounce again. Full count now. 3-2. Santana usually is among the best at drawing walks. He is again third in the American League this year, so he's up there. 89 base on balls. You've got Kipnis waiting on deck. Full count 3-2 on Santana. Ground ball right side and through a base hit. 1 run scores. They're going to try and get Almonte in, and he scores standing up. Ball gets away from McCann, and to second base goes Santana. 4-1 Cleveland.
Yeah, this ball had eyes on it as it squirted through the infield. It's a breaking ball upstairs, changeup, and Santana gets out in front of it and hits right between Miguel Cabrera and Ian Kinsler to drive in a couple of runs. The throw home got away from McCann momentarily, and that allowed Santana to get into scoring position.
You could not have thrown that ball out there better if you're Santana. Single, 2 RBIs, and the air is charged to the catcher, McCann. Here's the ball up and into Kipnis. 3-run lead now for Cleveland. Kipnis had a single, scored a run in the first. High fly ball left center field. Upton has this one, measuring it. Runner will tag, and here he comes to third, diving in safely is Santana. He aggressively moves up to third base.
That's one of the things that we have heard regarding this Cleveland Indians team, and I've talked to several people about it today. This Cleveland team, they lead the American League with 116 steals, and they're very aggressive on the base pass. Whenever they can move up 90 feet, they're looking to do so. They go first to third, they score on base hits. It's a very aggressive base running team. And they don't have a lot of burners either. They do not have a lot of burners, but it's a good base running team.
Yeah, you don't have to be fast to be good base runners.
I mean, obviously their fastest base runner is Rajay Davis, and he's 35 years old.
Huh. Well, here is Lindor now trying to drive in a 2-out run. Santana at third. McCann down to block it, 1-0.
Yeah, he's had a wonderful year this season against the Tigers. Lindor hitting about .360 against Tigers pitching coming into this contest.
Fulmer now has missed on 7 of 12 first pitches.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why he hasn't fared so well in this particular game so far.
On the outer edge, Lindor thought it was outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lindor singled, stole a base, and scored in the first. Santana, big 2-run single here in the second. Fouled off. So the pitch count now at 41. It's starting to elevate early here for Fulmer.
And Tigers really had to lean on their bullpen a whole lot in the just completed series against the Minnesota Twins. As a matter of fact, the Tigers relievers threw more than the starters did in that series.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him chased out of the zone. Fulmer gets a big strikeout there. They'll strand a runner at third, but 2 more in for Cleveland. To the top of the third here at Progressive Field. Hey, by the way, last chance for Tigers T-shirt Fridays is September 23rd. Tigers battling the Royals at 7:10 p.m. Get a game ticket plus an Ian Kinsler emoji T-shirt when you purchase exclusively at Tigers.com/T-shirt Fridays. Speaking of Kinsler, here he is. He'll get things started here in the third. Top of the order coming up for the Tigers. Ori Kluber and the Indians with a 4-1 lead. And Kinsler pops up the first pitch foul back out of play. Ian struck out to start the ball game tonight. .279 batting average for the Tigers second baseman. Kluber retired 5 in a row, then gave up the home run to Upton, and then a single and a walk, but that was it. Swing and a miss.
It's a real good breaking ball there thrown by Kluber. At 83 miles an hour, it took a little bit off of it, but he had the same arm speed as when he throws his cutter at about 90 miles an hour, which is one of the things that makes Kluber so difficult to hit at times.
We're talking last half inning when Kluber was out there about the 2014 Cy Young race and how close it was.
Right.
Kluber 169 votes and Felix Hernandez 159.
Ooh, that's really close. Just 10 points.
Yeah, point totals were right there. Meanwhile, Kinsler is punched out of there. One gone here in the third. We check in now with John Keating.
Well, Mario, I find this just interesting, really. Billy Butler was released by the Oakland A's, the designated hitter looking for a new home, and he revealed to our Fox Sports colleague Ken Rosenthal today that he thought he was going to be a member of the Detroit Tigers. Once the Tigers reached out to him, he began having some interest about keeping this season going, and then the New York Yankees came calling with a bit of a better offer, at least as far his particular skill set is concerned, and Butler ended up going to the Bronx.
Yeah, Keatson last night had a pretty good game, his first game with the Yankees, even though they lost in the ninth inning to the Red Sox. Billy Butler, what do you think? That would have been interesting here.
It would have been interesting here, but he's always had really good numbers against the Tigers, so I'm sure that Al Avila, the general manager, probably fond of some of the skills that Butler had, and it just wasn't him out there in Oakland. He just did not perform out there. He was a much better hitter than the way he performed out there for a couple of years.
And then he had that skirmish with Valencia out there, and that pretty much put his time in the West Coast to an end.
Tigers have had some difficulty with left-handed pitching this year, so I can see Butler as a real nice fit the last couple of weeks of the year.
Kluber wanted that last one, but he just missed the outside corner. Maben is 0 for 1. Soft line drive, back a second. Kipnis going back to run it down. 2 gone.
A nice play by Kipnis.
It'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Miggy hit a ball his first time up to center field. He is 0 for 1.
Surprisingly enough, the Cleveland Indians, they've really handled Miguel. In the 12 games this year, Miguel's batting average just over 200 with not one extra base hit in the 12 games they played this year against Cleveland.
Have you noticed a different style of pitching against Miggy?
They pitch him aggressively inside most of the time, a hair above the belt buckle, and that's one area where Miggy does have trouble from time to time.
Cabrera 3 hits shy of 2,500 for his career. He had a bit of a slow homestand, 160 on the last homestand for the Tigers. Here's the 0-1. 0-2 now on Cabrera. That time Kluber got the call.
Cut fastball, top of the strike zone. Now they're going to try. He wanted to go inside with that fastball up.
Swing and a miss. And Cabrera down on strikes. The Tigers go 1, 2, 3. 4 punch outs for Kluber. This series, MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on one Mike Napoli, who will get things started. Career at bats for home runs in September, and you look at Napoli, and he's on a pretty impressive list.
What's he hit? One homer every 11 at bats, basically.
Here it is, pretty much.
And big Mark McGuire, did it every 9 at bats one year. Some impressive people on that list: Greenberg, Ruth, Killebrew. Yeah.
He had a few taters.
We were talking a lot about Harmon Killebrew the last few days.
Yeah.
Because Brian Dozier tied him in Minnesota Twins history for homers while he was at Comerica Park.
Here's Napoli, who hit that 2-run double that was lost by Upton in left field. That got the Indians on the board early in this game, 2-run first. And now Napoli charging toward 100 RBIs. He has 96 for the year. That'll miss inside. So Fulmer needs a snappy inning here, wouldn't you say, Rod? He had a couple of lengthy innings to start this game.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him get on track and to throw some effective pitches, get ahead of the hitters here in this particular inning.
Tigers bullpen again yesterday, man. Just and you touched on the amount of work they did on that last homestand. It's pretty impressive again yesterday. The Tigers just could not get the offense going against the Twins in what was admittedly a very disappointing split with Minnesota. Here's the 2-1. 2-2 on Mike Napoli. Well, Napoli's got a knack for having long at bats. 4.52 pitches per plate appearance. That's the most in the majors. And he's gone 3-2 here.
He strikes out a lot too. Elevated fastball might just get another punch out.
And he walked him.
Laid off that changeup.
Leadoff man on. Time for a game break now. Johnny Kane. All right, Johnny, their 94th win of the year. They should get to 100, and certainly, as Joe Madden said, now it gives us an opportunity to kind of set things up going into the postseason. But sometimes, Rod, that too much time can be not a good thing either.
Yeah, you don't want too much time. But how about the Chicago Cubs? I mean, clinching the division on September 16th.
Hard to believe. They have done a terrific job. A lot of good young talent on that team. Great manager in Joe Madden.
I mean, that team has had the bullseye on their back all season long, and all they've done is just go out and win every single night, basically.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jose Ramirez. And Fulmer, you see the breakdown there. 29 against 21. Not exactly what he wants here.
No, ratio not real favorable tonight for Michael Fulmer through his first 50 pitches.
Napoli back in, standing up. I still think for teams that are able to clinch early, they've got to find ways to kind of keep that edge, don't you think, and get to the end of the season where they're playing their best baseball. That can be tough sometimes.
But you want that, because the Tigers have seen that firsthand. If you don't have that going into the postseason, or if you have too much of a layoff during the course of the postseason, it can hurt you.
That's it for a strike on Ramirez.
Now, what in the world is Napoli doing with that oven mitt on? I heard you calling it the oven mitt the last couple of days.
Know.
What's he doing with that thing on?
Well, Rajay's not in the game tonight for Cleveland. He probably borrowed it. Napoli's not what you would consider a base stealer.
He's a good base runner, though, I've learned. They say he's a good base runner.
And Brad was saying that before the game. They've got some guys that'll surprise you a little bit. Napoli, one of them. Fouled away.
They say, as a matter of fact, one of the reasons why this Cleveland Indians team is such a good base running team is that Napoli is the leader. Just like Miguel Cabrera, not the fleetest of foot, but he might be one of the Tigers' best base runners. You don't have to be fast to be a good base runner.
1-2 on Jose Ramirez, who flied to right field his first time up. He laid off. 2-2.
A lot of lengthy at bats today.
Yeah.
For the Cleveland Indians against Fulmer. Just about every guy, he's needed 3 or 4 pitches, sometimes 5 pitches, to retire him.
You tell Michael right now, just trying to battle through here, stay in this game. It's 4-1 right now. And now we've got a balk. That'll move Napoli to second. And that balk was called quite quickly. Yep. There was movement before he stepped off. That'll miss outside, and the count now will go 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fourth time already that Fulmer has gone to a 3-ball count. Inside, and he walked him, and he almost hit him. So Ramirez hits the deck. He'll get a base on balls. Back-to-back walks here in the third. Well, Menards brings you the big money encounter, and even though Fulmer is scuffling a bit here tonight, when you combine Fulmer, Norris, and Boyd, and you consider the fact, Rob, they pitched in some big games in a pennant stretch here. These guys have done terrific work.
Overall, 32-17. And that's what the team is in the rookies starts this year. In other starts, all starters 4.76 ERA. So they've done some nice work in their first tour of duty in the big leagues in September, pitching in a pennant race.
Norris will go on Sunday here against the Indians. When you acquire 3 guys like the Tigers did at the trading deadline last year, you kind of hope that at least 1 will make an impact.
You hope.
Hopefully 2 will make an impact. When you get 3, pretty good.
Yeah.
Rich Doobie chased out of there. And now Kinsler trying to refocus Fulmer.
Well, you wonder what the Indians' approach will be here. You wonder if Chris will be up there bunting. There is no one out. He does have outstanding bunting skills, and Terry Francona's already sacrificed once in the game today with the catcher Perez. Tigers, at least on the corners in the infield, are anticipating a bunt.
If he bunts here, the sabermetrics crowd is just going to go nuts.
Because they have a 3-run lead?
No, they just don't like bunting, period.
Oh.
No sign of the bunt. 1 ball, no strikes, high and away, and that ball missed by a wide margin.
So one thing you really, I mean, you haven't heard a whole lot of the sabermetric stuff this year. I mean, you heard a lot about it in spring training, heard a lot about it at the beginning of the year, but really during the course of the year, you haven't heard it talked about that much.
Well, no sign of bunt on that first pitch. They're still pinching at the corners in case. 2 walks to start things off here in the third. Low ball 2, and now if you're Brad Ausmus, you're probably squirming a little bit, because the last thing you want to do is get the bullpen working here in the third.
Yeah, he might have to, because it doesn't appear that Michael has it today. Command just not all that good. And we just told you that Tigers bullpen has been used quite a bit in the last 3 days. They're going to have to use it again here tonight.
Well, the Tiger bullpen came out in the 2nd inning in yesterday's ball game.
They threw more than 20 innings in the last 3 days. Tigers bullpen.
Now he's gone 3-0.
And it's almost like Fulmer is aiming the ball here tonight for me. For the first time in all of his starts that I've seen him this year, he looks like he's aiming the ball, not just letting it go.
They handed out the red pom-poms tonight here at Progressive Field. It appears to be a full house. And there's a strike, 3-1. Crisp is 0 for 1. He bounced out to second in his first at bat. Coco spent the first 4 years of his career here in Cleveland. Ground ball back up the middle, slowly hit. Kinsler to second, one, relay to first. Here's a double play, and boy, did he need that. A huge 4-6-3 for Fulmer, 2 gone.
After falling behind 3-1 to Coco Crisp, he made a quality pitch to Ian Kinsler. Kinsler took very little time getting the ball to Ibar. Then Ibar, with a very strong arm, able to get the speedy Coco Crisp by 1 foot. 1 step, I should have said.
That'll leave a runner at third down with 2 outs. And the rookie Tyler Naquin. Loop single back at the second. He eventually scored. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Everyday Alex.
Well, Wilson will pitch in any type of situation that you need him in. Back end, front end, middle of the game.
He's a gamer.
The 0-1. Sliced foul, 0-2 now on Naquin.
And if you're Brad, even though you're trailing by 3 runs, you have to go to somebody in that bullpen that can keep the score right where it's at to give your offense time to try to wake up here today against Corey Kluber. You don't want to go to the front end of your bullpen and maybe give up some more runs and put the game out of reach. So he's going to have to go to somebody like a Wilson or a Justin Wilson or one of the back end pieces.
Yeah, this is no longer April or May or June. This is September, where wins are mandatory now. And managers will do some different things this time of year. Call on their players to dig a little deeper.
4-out saves for the closers, whatnot.
Yeah, that's a good point. 1-2 on Naquin. High, ball 2. Fulmer got the big double play, trying to close it out here and strand that runner at third. Inside, now he's gone full at 3-2.
Another 3-ball count.
So he's over 20 per inning now after 3, and that's why the Tigers have the bullpen going. They'll eventually have to get there at some point tonight. And the 3-2 fouled away. Fulmer coming back with a good hard fastball at 95. There's Almonte waiting on deck. Driven in the air to center. Maben going back. He's going to get there. Edge of the warning track to make the catch. Nice job by Fulmer. He pitched around a couple of walks. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Ram, get power you can depend on in Ram Power Days. And by Kroger. Spectacular night weather-wise here in Cleveland. Tigers opening up this road trip and a 3-gamer here against the Tribe. 4-1 Indians have the lead for the time being as Victor Martinez stands in against Corey Kluber. It'll be V-Mart, J.D. Martinez, Justin Upton. Kluber had a 1-2-3 third. He picked up a couple of strikeouts. Victor bounced to the first baseman Napoli in his first at bat. You want to talk about a guy that is the model of consistency. Although Victor has struggled a bit of late, he is hitting .290 left-handed, .290 right-handed. On the dot this year coming in. And it's pretty much that way. 300 from both sides career.
He is.
Little pop up back a short. Lindor going back and a drop, base hit. Little looping single for Victor.
At the plate now for Detroit, the right fielder, J.D. Martinez.
The Major League Baseball returns tomorrow. 2 huge games. First on Fox. Big Papi and the Red Sox battle the rival Yankees at 12:30 Eastern. Down on FS1, your Tigers continue their series with the Indians at 3:30 Eastern, or watch both games live on Fox Sports Go.
And Verlander will be getting the ball tomorrow afternoon against the Tribe, against Carrasco, a big tall right-hander of the Tribe.
Another great pitching matchup.
Got 3 good ones this series.
Here's J.D. Martinez, swing and a miss. The finale is going to be Norris and Bauer. So you're right, 3 good ones in this series. And the Tigers enjoy an off day Monday. Then it's on in Minneapolis. J.D. hit a ground ball his first time up, right to the shortstop Lindor. And dives low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pretty good numbers in his career here. 300 even at Progressive Field for J.D. Martinez. Quite a few of the Tigers have nice numbers here. It'll dive low and away. 2-1. Martinez yesterday was able to snap it 0 for 13. He has not really gone through too many of those stretches at any point this year. Two and two.
Every single pitch that Kluber has thrown him has been away from him, and majority breaking balls. That last one he took a little bit off, and JD was fooled on it and swung right over the top of it.
Notice the Twins on that last Tigers homestand. The right-handers they threw at least a steady diet of breaking balls away to JD. Everything away on Fox Tracks.
Ooh.
And he got him, strike 3, and JD knew it.
4 straight breaking balls, and he comes back and he threads the needle with a 2-seam fastball located beautifully in the outside black. And Tigers caught a bad break. It was back in the first inning on the ball, went up to left field, hit off the bat of Napoli. Jay Up never saw the baseball. As a result, a ground rule double and a couple of RBIs for Napoli. But then Jay Up tried to get him back. Solo shot to right center field his first time up on an 0-2 pitch off Corey Kluber.
23rd home run of the year for Upton. And Kluber delivers a strike. 0-1. He's threading the needle now on that outer edge.
And Kluber, like most really good pitchers, and when they give you an opportunity to get them early, you need to try to capitalize, because most of the time the good ones, they really start to settle in and they make it tough.
He held off. One ball and 1 strike. They've had issues here with things that are flying in the air. Midges, and they had a situation a little while ago here where they got really bad. As if hitters have nothing else to worry about but bugs in their eyes.
Yeah, it's tough enough trying to hit Corey Kluber as it is. What do they call him?
Midges?
Midges?
Yeah. Don't ask you to explain any further. One and two. Justin Upton. He spoiled one there on the outer edge.
That is probably the biggest difference in Corey Kluber against the Tigers this year versus years past. The fact that Mario, he is throwing this breaking ball with regularity this year. We gave you the numbers on Kluber, 2-0 with an ERA that is what, .053 this year against Tigers bats. And for me, it's that breaking ball. He's no longer trying to overpower the Tigers with lots of fastballs as he did in his first couple of years in the big leagues. He simply goes to the fastball after a lot of breaking balls.
Perez held it there. Did not get the call. A little bit high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Kluber is also one of those guys that throws every single pitch out of the same arm slot, same window, with the same arm speed. He's got real nice deception, and he's got really nice talent to go along with it. Another one of them slow benders.
And he missed, and Jay Up, good job. Did not bite. Now the count goes 3-2.
Just about every single pitch to Upton and J.D. Martinez away. They had a scout the last 6 games at Comerica Park, Steve Lubradich. Is it Lubradich? I'm drawing a blank on his name now. I'll get it in a minute. But anyway, they had a scout here, a scout that works in their organization at Comerica Park for the last 7 days, and you could bet anytime Minnesota had success or Baltimore had success against a Tigers hitter, then they were going to have that same kind of pitch routine in this series against them.
No secrets anymore, huh? That's what scouting's all about, especially this time of the year.
It is Steve Lubradich.
You were right the first time.
Yeah, it was right the first time. One of their scouts.
Trust yourself.
Yeah.
And there's the ball high. That'll be a walk. That's a good at bat there for Justin Upton. 2 on now with 1 out. Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day.
As a matter of fact, Lubradich told me yesterday when I was at the ballpark, this is the first time that he's advanced anybody all year, which kind of gives you an idea how big the Cleveland Indians think the series is, too.
Well, the Indians came in 6 up on the Tigers. Of course, the Tigers keeping their eye on the wild card race and the division as well. Cleveland's magic number came in at 11 tonight.
Ibar, good numbers in his career against Kluber. It's one of the reasons why he got the starting assignment tonight. He's already singled successfully in this game.
Pretty good. 6-4-13. Ibar in the homestand was 3 out of 11. That's in there for a strike. Although Ibar thought it might have been a skosh high. Iglesias, who is not starting tonight, was 1 for 9 career against Kluber, and you just saw the numbers on Ibar. That's why Ibar gets the call here this evening.
Computer spit him out today.
Yep.
Spit his name out.
Computer says, Ibar, you're the guy. Ooh, look out, up and in.
Ooh.
Kluber came up and in on the first pitch of the game to Kinsler, and he's done the same here to Ibar. Two and 1. Tigers got a single from Vmart, a walk to Justin Upton. Popped up. Fulmer coming over, and he's going to be called off by Napoli. Ibar is retired. Ibar having a chat now with Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire.
Now at the plate for Detroit.
I know that was about 2 gone.
James McCann.
We got McCann, who walked on 4 pitches in his first at bat. Indians pretty much built their lead on a stretch that they played earlier this year when they won a franchise-long 14 games in a row.
They were rolling. The Tigers saw them at that time.
And because of that, the Indians kind of separated themselves. And of course, what they've done against the Tigers hasn't hurt either. They've won 11 of the 12 meetings between these two teams. And McCann cuts and misses 0-1. Here you go, their longest streak since 1999 in being in first place consecutively, 104 straight days. And McCann looks at a strike.
Every single pitch that Kluber is throwing to all the right-handers is away, away, away. Really, the only mistake he made in the game was a 2-seam fastball he wanted away to Justin Upton that leaked back over the plate that Justin was able to hit the home run on. But all the right-handers, everything away.
And he is threading the needle on a lot of those pitches.
Cutters, 2-seam fastballs. And now one of them minions, them fooling McCann's eye.
Not a minion.
What is it?
A midget.
I'm sorry. Midges. It sounded nice.
It sounded great, actually. 0-2 the count on McCann. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Kluber will strand a pair. That is 6 strikeouts now for the Cleveland right-hander. On our way to the bottom of the 4th.
Indians have been a great story all season long, but apparently that's news to the people of Cleveland. We're startled to see the attendance here tonight. The last series that was played here at home, they averaged, the announced crowd was just 11,000 per game. They had a nice crowd for the weekend of Labor Day, but before that there was only 12,000. Mario and Rod have touched upon it. They are near the bottom of all major league teams in attendance, it seems just now perhaps. with the Tigers in town, people are turning out to see their Indians. Let me just say that if I live to be 1,000, I can't enjoy any more bug reports from Rod Allen. Well, and I got one right as I came on the air here. One got me.
What are they, John?
Midges. Everybody knows that, Rod.
All right, Keith, thanks. Here's El Monte.
Watch those midges down there.
You know, midges kind of hang out, according to Wikipedia, near marshy areas. So Keating apparently is in a marshy area down there.
Rod, are you sure you want to work for the National Geographic Channel?
No, not at all.
Here's the 0-2 to El Monte, and he looks at the ball inside. Well, Fulmer needs a snappy inning, and he needs one pronto because the pitch count now is up to 70 for Michael. He's got Almonte, Perez, and Santana here in the 4th inning. 4-1 in favor of the Indians. Checked it, and he got him. Strike 3. Almonte is out of there. Strikeouts now for Fulmer. Here's what we were touching on, Rada, when you talked about. Look at the amount of innings the relievers threw compared to the starters in that Twin Series.
15 2/3 for the starters, 20 innings for the relievers. And the relievers obviously did very well. But you've got to get more production out of your starters. There's no doubt about that.
August 26th is the last time the Tigers got a win from a starting pitcher.
That is kind of mind-boggling, and the fact that the Tigers are still in the hunt as far as the wild card is concerned. They have not had a win from a starter in that many days.
Doesn't happen very often. Perez hammers one high in the air to right field. It'll send J.D. Martinez back. 2 gone. Verlander was the guy that got that win on August 26th. It's the longest single season drought since April 15 to May 10 in the year 2000 for the Tigers.
That was a pretty long drought there, too.
Santana, the batter. Did he go? We did not. Says Pat Hobart. Our good buddy C.J. Nitkowski got the first and last win in that stretch for the Tigers that year.
Did he really?
We'll see him tomorrow in the FS1 broadcast. Upton handles this one, and Fulmer needed that. A 1-2-3 4th inning. Boys, don't forget the Tigers host the Royals on Saturday, September 24th at 1:05. Maglio Ordonez will take part in a pregame Q&A session. It's the final of the season-long celebration of the 10th anniversary of the 06 AL champs. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
They saved the best for last. Maglio, huh?
They sure did. And don't forget that game was originally a 7:10 start. It's now a 1:10 start. So mark that on your calendar. A time change for Maglio Ordonez.
First 9 batters tonight against Kluber. He had just 2 swings and misses. In the last 8 batters, he has racked up 8 swings and misses. So his stuff has gotten better as he has gone deeper in the game.
Romine shoots this one in the air to deep left. Is still carrying, still going, and finally caught by Crisp. It looked routine. 1 out. Time for a game break now. Johnny Kane.
Now hitting for Detroit, the leadoff hitter, number 3, Ian Kinsler.
All right, boys, here is Ian Kinsler standing in with 1 out.
Kluber has not thrown many pitches at all inside tonight against Tigers hitters. Usually a steady diet of fastballs inside by Kluber. Not tonight.
Another breaking ball again on the outside corner. Now he's gone 0-2.
I bet his mix tonight in the 64 pitches that he has thrown is probably about 50-50. 50 fastballs, 50 off speed.
And it's worked well so far. That time he laid off. Kinsler trying to get something started. The Tigers have not been on without their opportunities. They did get a run in the second. They had 2 men on, but that was it. And then they put 2 men on in the 4th, but couldn't score. A little roller hit toward first base. Routine for Napoli. 2 outs.
Now at the plate for Detroit,
Here's Cameron Maben.
Cameron Maben.
You know, we joke, Rod, about these midges here, but as a hitter, I mean, you've got these things flying around your head all night. I mean, in all seriousness, it has to be something else that you have to contend with.
It's distracting. There's no doubt about that.
That's popped up, shallow center. Kipnis going back.
They're making it look easy.
He is indeed. A 7-pitch 5th inning. You're watching Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. For T-Mobile's greater coverage of baseball, here's what's going on in some of the other big games. The Tigers are keeping their eyes on. Good news, Baltimore trailing tonight at home against Tampa. And the Yankees, who came in one game behind the Tigers in the wild card standings, trailing in Boston. Right now, Toronto holds the second wild card spot. They're playing the Angels again tonight. Seattle, how about that team?
There might be a game 163 this year in the American League.
You know, I was thinking about that the other night, and I think there's really a good possibility of that, because there really aren't those one or two teams that are just going on that run right now. Kipnis getting things started here in the bottom of the fifth. Hammered back out of play 0-1.
Seattle's had a nice winning streak. That's one of the reasons why they were able to get back into the wild card chase there, but they've got to slow down. They cannot continue to win at the pace that they've been winning at lately.
They have won 8 consecutive games.
Right.
Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike on Kipnis.
It's good to see Fulmer out there battling tonight when he is clearly doesn't have his best stuff. And he's thrown 78 pitches so far, and he's basically battled all night long with his command.
And he had some bad luck as well on that ball that was lost in left field by Upton. Otherwise, could be a bit of a different game.
Yeah, think about that for a moment. He doesn't really have his great stuff today. Doesn't have his great command, but yet competing to the enough where the score really should be 2-1 right now.
He had an 8-pitch fourth. And now he's let off the fifth with a walk. Third walk.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it is brought to you by Xfinity. 95 top fastball, low of 84 on a breaking ball for Fulmer. Take a look at this last pitch. Look at the front shoulder. That front shoulder is opening up way too soon tonight for Fulmer. As a result of that, the arm is lagging. And a lot of his fastballs today against left-handers, who he came into the game dominating, have been up and away from a lot of the lefties because of the fact that he's over aggressive with that front shoulder so far tonight. See if he makes an adjustment on Lindor. There's another one.
Fulmer has only 1 win in his last 10 starts, despite an ERA of 3.49. And here's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a real good look at it right there. You can see how it opened up, and the arm is just way too far behind the body. It's never catching up. He's kind of had that issue all night tonight.
We'll keep an eye on Kipnis. 12 stolen bases this year. 4-1 Cleveland. We're in the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike on Lindor. Single steal, run scored in the first for Lindor. Lindor was the Indians' first-round pick in 2011. The Indians had a choice of Javier Baez or Lindor. Obviously couldn't go wrong either way, but they selected Lindor, and Baez went next to the Cubs, and he's gotten to the big leagues and has been a productive hitter. Way outside. 2-1.
Maybe McCann ought to call for a couple of fastballs inside to some of these left-handers. He continues to set up away and call for fastballs away and breaking balls away. Maybe he ought to help Fulmer out by setting up inside on a couple of pitches to see if he can throw some balls inside with a little bit better command. Going to throw over one time here, though. We try to keep that double play in order. If you weren't with us earlier, we told you that Lindor has grounded into 18 double plays already this year, and he's got good speed.
Really is odd to hear that number, especially when you consider Napoli's hitting only 13. Now they 2-1. Helped him out there. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Lindor. Ground ball slowly up the middle, could be 2. Kinsler chasing the runner, does not get the tag. Throw to second, not in time.
Outstanding base running there by Kipnis. Outstanding base running. Ian Kinsler did everything that you're taught to do as a second baseman when you grab the ball in the baseline. You run that base runner back and you try to tag him while getting the ball to first base to apply the tag. But a nice little move there by Kipnis, turned away from Ian. Ian did get the out at first, but Kipnis safe at second. It's a nice play there.
So that'll give the Indians some man in scoring position now with 1 out. Kipnis eluding the tag and then barreling into second. Here's Mike Napoli. Strike 1 on Napoli, and that one was touch high, and Napoli thought it missed.
Let's take one more look at this last play. Do you think Ian had time to get the ball to I-bar?
Yep.
Yeah, he might have had time to go the more conventional way there, 4-6-3 double play instead of trying to do it all himself.
If he gets it done that backhand shovel, I think they turn 2 there.
And one more look at the nifty move here by Kipnis. Looked like he played a little running back when he was a youngster.
A little spin move there.
A little spin move, yeah.
1-1. Napoli 2-run double and a walk. Way high. And you can see that Fulmer has stayed way up there on Napoli.
You mentioned the fact that Napoli is on the verge of getting to 100 RBIs this year. The last time they've had a couple of guys with 100 RBIs, you got to go back almost 10 years. When Victor Martinez and Travis Hafner did it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Strike call. 2-2 now on Napoli.
Napoli got that big barrel chest, doesn't he? He stays in that weight.
You've got to put him in the country strong category.
Look at him, man. He got 33 big flies.
I'm petitioning for him. Belted high and deep down the left field line. That thing is a majestic home run for Mike Napoli.
He is country strong.
Oh my goodness, did you see where that ball landed?
They've been partying a lot at Napoli's too around here. They seem to have a party every night at Napoli's. And that was a fastball that was up in the strike zone, and Napoli usually has a difficult time with fastballs up in the strike zone. That ball was up around the letters, and he got up underneath it, and he knew it was gone as soon as he hit it.
Well, you talk about lift and separate. Look at this thing, 108 miles an hour in the exit speed.
What a year he's had.
Man, 6-1 now, Cleveland. 400 feet on that home run by Napoli. Is he calling for a pizza now?
Calling for the party.
Getting the party room set up.
Party set up.
Ooh. That is the second time tonight Ramirez has done that to himself. This time he's not getting up quickly. Oh. That's going to bring the trainer out.
Did it go off his knee?
He must have.
Back knee? Fulmer's made 24 starts this year, and he's now given up 6 runs in this game and it's the second time in just the 24 starts he's given up 6 runs. Also did it to Boston.
Most home runs in their first year with the Indians, 34 for Napoli, which is one shy of Juan Gonzalez.
He's a free agent after this year is over, and there are a lot of people here in Cleveland that feel like the brass here is not going to pony up enough money for Napoli to stay.
Well, the numbers keep going higher and higher, don't they?
Yeah. But I think he's enjoying himself here in Cleveland. You know, grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah. I think we've all learned that at one point in our lives. There's a ball high, 2 balls and 1 strike on Jose Ramirez, a fly on the walk.
Especially at Napoli's age. I mean, if you're comfortable and you enjoy your teammates and your family enjoys the city.
High again, 3-1. Right now the bullpen quiet for the Tigers. 94 pitches for Michael Fulmer.
Yeah, this will be his last inning.
He'll shoot that one toward left field. On the move is Upton. Second out of the inning. Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go.
I don't know what it is with this Cleveland Indians team when the Tigers show up, but they average 6 runs per game in the 13 meetings they've had this year. That's a lot of runs.
Well, 2 in the first, 2 in the second tonight. Now 2 in this inning. That's ripped foul. 0-1 on Crisp. I keep saying sooner or later, I mean, this thing has to turn around in the season series. Only logic tells you that.
Well, it really goes back a little further than just this season series. As a matter of fact, the Indians have beaten the Tigers 17 of the last 19 meetings going back to last year. So they've kind of had their way in the last 20 games against Tigers. And these numbers right here are just lopsided on Cleveland's side.
I hate to bust these out, but numbers are numbers. You're hitting over 100 points higher than the Tigers are in the season series.
ERAs by the starters, though. One's in the 8s and the other was in the 2s.
Two and 1 on Coco Crisp. Bouncing ball, foul. There is action in the Detroit bullpen as the 100th pitch is about to be thrown. That is Shane Green warming up. Here's a swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. Crisp is out of there. However, Mike Napoli goes deep. A rather regal 2-run shot here in the 5th. And the Indians now lead 6-1, dialing long distance. On our way to the 6th inning now, Progressive Field in the start of this 3-game series. The Tigers now down 6-1. The 2-run shot by Napoli has extended the lead. And the Tigers now trying to come back. Got the bug spray out now, trying to keep those midges away. It'll be the middle of the Tigers lineup. It'll be Cabrera, Martinez, Martinez. Still time here against Kluber, but Kluber had a 1-2-3 fifth. Aside from the home run he allowed to Upton, that's about it. Miggy looks at a strike. Cabrera strikeout flyout in this game. Kluber's pitch count in much better shape as he misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kluber has 6 strikeouts in this contest. He had 30 in his previous 3 starts. So he's been striking out quite a few more batters as he busts one low and away. And again, everything outside to Cabrera.
He is very much in the Cy Young conversation, along with Justin Verlander. Chris Sale probably still in that conversation. Porcello, of course. But he is right in the thick of that conversation with the other guys that I just mentioned.
Tried to hold up, did he? Yes.
And he may be pitching better than anybody right now of the guys that I did just mention.
Jay Happ won again last night, I believe, for the Jays.
Did you see how many runs per game Jay Happ is getting? Like 6-7 runs per game.
No, I didn't see that.
So is Ricky P.
That makes life a little easier.
Yeah, Ricky P is getting like 8 runs a game.
Ricky P. Here's the 3-1 pitch. I think he fouls it away. 3-2. What's this all about here for Cabrera in the last 6 seasons here? You see 2016, the number is diving a little.
Yeah, they finally figured out a way to slow him down this year. And batting average is .205 this year in 13 games against Cleveland pitching.
Up and in. So Cabrera will take first base, leadoff walk.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. And this is what I was talking about regarding Kluber and how he has changed the way that he pitches against the Tigers. Everything is away, whether it be that cutter, whether it be the slider, whether it be the 2-seam fastball or an occasional changeup. And the Tigers hitters have had a very difficult time of staying back on the Kluber breaking ball. And he's been led beautifully by his catcher Perez here tonight. Everything away.
6 strikeouts, 3 walks. He has allowed only 3 hits, but we've got a base on balls here to get things started. Here's Victor Martinez. Victor, a lot of room to the left side of the infield. They play him to pull, as most teams do when he bats left-handed. Meanwhile, Napoli trying to keep the midges away. It's been a chore tonight. Way inside of that hit him.
Knee.
Oh,
my goodness.
Very quickly, Kevin Rand comes out, and Kluber has hit Martinez to put 2 men on. That's literally the last thing Victor needed.
Maybe a touch below the knee.
Yeah.
But still, it hurts just as much as getting hit in the knee.
Victor gingerly walking to first base. So the Tigers have 2 on here, nobody out. Tigers tonight 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. A chance to get back into this thing now.
And Tribe, they don't hit many batters. They've hit the fewest amount of batters in the American League, their staff.
Now Kluber will face Martinez, ground out, strikeout. Line foul, back out of play, 0-1. Kluber was 5-0 in the month of August. 2.45 ERA. Won the American League Pitcher of the Month in August, which was obviously a big part of his big second half. Very methodically going after the Tigers here tonight.
He took a step back last year after winning the Cy Young Award in 2014. Yeah, but this year pitching more like the Corey Kluber they expected last season.
0-2 on JD.
And Kluber has thrown so many pitches to all the right-handers away that JD Martinez thought he could still get to this two-seam fastball that was inside, even though JD, in my opinion, was looking away from him, which he should have been doing, because that's where Kluber's been all night long. Look at those post All-Star game record numbers. 10 strikeouts per 9, 7-1 with a 2.14.
Here's the 0-2. Fly ball in the air toward right field. Naquin going back. He'll run it down. And Cabrera will move up to third base. That'll leave him at the corners now, 1 out. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. Michael Fulmer in this one. 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. Napoli with a big night. He's doubled in 2. He's hit a homer to knock in 2 more. And Upton a solo shot so far for the Tigers' only run.
Nearly 100 pitches as well for Fulmer in the 5 innings that he pitched here today, if not 100 on the nose.
Here's Upton now. Homer and a walk for Justin. Ball 1. Not surprisingly, Kluber away, working away. Infield playing to pull on Upton. In there, a strike call, and man, that seemed out of strike zone.
Here's the Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Window. That is the only run that Tigers have on the board here tonight, courtesy of Justin Upton in the 2nd inning.
Third home run of the year for Upton. Kluber a leadoff walk to Cabrera. He hit Martinez. JD fly to center, leaving runners at first and third. Upton hammers one in the air to center field. That ball is way back. It is up and it is gone.
Look out, JL.
Justin Upton, his 2nd home run of the night, and the Tigers are right back in it. He has gotten Upton twice.
Two great swings put on the baseball tonight by Justin Upton. Looked like the same pitch he hit out of the ballpark earlier. Two-seam fastball that leaked right back over the plate. Outstanding swing by Justin. Had a lot of backspin on it and carried out into the bushes in straightaway center field. And Kluber like, what just happened?
Both of them just lasers. Upton with numbers 23 and 24. Soft liner to the second baseman, and Ibar is retired 2 away. So it's a brand new ball game now, the 3rd multi-homer game of the year for Upton. Tigers suddenly within 2. That'll bring up McCann.
For whatever reason, Justin Upton is the only right-hander that Kluber has not been able to locate those breaking balls and those fastballs away today. couple of two-seam fastballs that he's absolutely clobbered tonight against Kluber.
McCann with a walk and a strikeout. Tigers with a 3 spot here in the 6th. It's a 2-run game. Swing and a miss, 0-1. A big swing there by McCann. Action now in the bullpen for Cleveland. Brian Shaw starting to warm up. Of course, the Indians added Andrew Miller.
And you might see Andrew Miller anytime from the 7th on.
Terry Francona has not been afraid to use him in key spots, whether it's the 7th, 8th, 9th.
High leverage situations, game on the line. He goes to his best reliever. Doesn't care when it is. I think we're going to start to see more and more managers adopt that theory.
High fly ball, left center field. Naquin going back for this one to the warning track to make the catch. It'll end the inning, but Upton clapping his hands saying, "We're back in this, boys." Boom to center field, a 3-run shot. He has hit better than 800 feet of homers tonight. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Sam Bergstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Chevrolet, more than you expect for less than you imagine. Well, the Tigers showing some life. A 3-run homer for Justin Upton. His 2nd of the night, and it's now a 2-run game. Bullpen go the Tigers. Wall side windows pitching change. Shane Green.
And Green, 54 strikeouts this year in 21 base on balls. He checks in with a 5.43 ERA, pitching in his 45th game. His job is to, without question, slow down this offense that the Tribe has ran at the Tigers tonight.
Tyler Naquin leads it off. It'll be Naquin, Almonte, and Perez, bottom 3 for the Indians.
And Green has a fastball that gets up to about 95. That would be his 4-seam fastball. He also has a slider that he throws 19% of the time. He'll cut the fastball, also a curveball and a changeup. And the reason why he has so many pitches is he's a starter by trade. Doesn't throw all those pitches when pitching out of the bullpen.
Naquin, a half-hearted swing there, and he's down 0-2.
It's a good 4-seam fastball there, thrown away from his arm side by Green at 94 miles an hour.
6 runs on 7 hits for the Indians, 4 runs on 4 hits for the Tigers. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Now the 0-2. Naquin hammers it foul, back out of play. Tonight's game featuring a couple of guys battling for that Rookie of the Year. Naquin, of course, having a fabulous season for the Indians. Michael Fulmer, though, his numbers will take a bit of a hit tonight. He gives up 6 runs.
Yeah, Fulmer was looking to lead the American League in ERA. He might have jumped above Tanaka today.
To center field, base hit.
And not a good 0-2 pitch there by Green. Not to Naquin, not in this situation.
Check in with John Keating now.
Mario, we thought there was some symbolism in this. Tiger fans know it's been a roller coaster season for your team, and maybe, just maybe, as we came into Cleveland, the roller coaster would end. Well, at nearby Cedar Point, that was literally true. They have the Mean Streak, which is said to be the tallest and fastest wooden roller coaster in the world. Well, tonight at 7:30, the Mean Streak rode for its last time. They actually had last rites for the roller coaster and a funeral procession out of the ballpark or out of the park afterward. Mario, Rod, you guys thrill ride guys?
No. How about you? You ever take the family over there?
Not upset in the least at that.
They could have roller coaster.
Okay. You want to burn down the wooden roller coaster?
You got anything else down there for us? Because I really don't care.
You could have had that roller coaster.
You guys about jumped out of the booth to tell me no, absolutely not. Under no uncertain terms.
Appreciate that story, though. Thanks, buddy. I never have been and never will be a roller coaster.
Never was, never liked it. My kids used to love going to Magic Mountain, California, man. I just did not like those roller coasters.
Yeah, as a kid, we go to Cedar Point a lot in Sandusky, and man, I ran from the coasters. Well, leadoff man out here. Tigers climbing back into it. Now Green trying to hold down the fort. Almonte's single strikeout. Fouled away.
Naquin is jumping around at first base like he wants to steal second. So if you're Green, you've got to make sure you keep him close. You've got to keep your double play in order, especially with your ability to throw ground balls.
Naquin 5 steals, 8 attempts.
Just about everybody on the Cleveland Indians team runs at some point in time, whether they're fast or not.
Naquin draws the throw.
If you're Brad, you could even pitch out on one of the next 2 pitches, and more than likely you'll catch Naquin and trying to steal this base. But McCann doesn't need much help, therefore Brad hasn't called many pitch outs this season. Leaning.
Strike on the outer edge.
Green doing a nice job of kind of holding the ball, and that's getting Naquin a little jumpy over at first base. He's holding it for 2 seconds, holding it for 3 seconds, which is another way of shutting down the running game, or at least slowing down the running game. Max Scherzer was outstanding at it because he didn't have a good move. But all of a sudden, he had a pretty good move after he learned how to do that, didn't he?
He had to find a way, some way, because all of Max's throws to first base were basically live and telegraphed. He just didn't have a good move. Now, later on, he developed a decent move. That's low, and the count now 1-2 on Almonte. Indians jumped out to a 6-1 lead, and then Upton hit a 3-run shot on the 6th. His second home run tonight. That's pulled down the right field line. That looks like trouble, and that ball is up against the wall. Naquin coming to third base. They're going to stop him there. And it's a double for Almonte, and the Indians now have him at second and third.
Shane Green has been able to get ahead of Naquin. No balls, 2 strikes. He got ahead of Almonte. 1 ball and 2 strikes, but the breaking ball was down in the strike zone, and Almonte rips it to right for a double. So he's had no trouble getting ahead of the guys, but he has not been able to put either hitter away.
And with nobody out, they hold the runner at third base. Now the Indians have him at second and third. And the catcher Perez coming up. 19th double of the year for Almonte. Here comes that drum again. John Adams out in left center field in the bleachers, banging the drum. Perez sacrificing a flyout. That is a foul ball. Man, that was close. Mike Everett right there to signal foul. 0-1 on Perez. For 9 tonight for Cleveland with men in scoring position. Low and away, would not bite. 1 ball, 1 strike. Green methodically slowing things down now. He gets the baseball, takes a walk around the mound. Two on, nobody out for the Indians. Driven in the air to shallow center field. Here comes Maben on the run. And he slides and makes the catch. Here comes the runner to the plate. He'll score. The ball is thrown away at second base. Almonte is headed to third, and he's in standing up. And it's 7-4 Cleveland.
I don't know what happened there between the communication between Justin and also Maben, but after Maben makes this catch, he has time to throw the ball home because Naquin was on third base. Naquin, he didn't take off, and he had plenty of time to throw the ball home instead of going to second, and he rushed his throw to second base because he didn't have a good handle on the baseball, and he simply threw it away. Take a look at Naquin here at third base. He's still there. Now he has to go back and tag again, and then he wasn't quite sure whether he was going to go or not. But then when he saw the ball go to second base, he was able to score easily.
Perez trying to direct traffic. He's not sure what's going on.
Good luck.
Go, go, go. You go. It's a 3-run game now. They have a runner at third and 1 out. RBI for Perez.
Second error of the game for the Tigers, and the Tigers came into play today having only committed 65 errors, which were the fewest in the American League.
Infield in now with a runner at third, 1 out. And Santana takes ball 1. Two-run single for Santana in the second. He has 76 RBIs.
Every time the Tigers have put runs on the board here tonight, the Tribe have countered in the bottom half of that inning. And the Tigers scored 1 in the second. The Tribe came back, scored 2 that inning. 3 in the 6th for the Tigers. Tribe already with 1 on the board and just 1 out now. Man on third.
1 ball, 1 strike on Santana. 2 Tigers errors in this game. Big rip there, foul back, 1 and 2.
He does not get cheated, Santana, when he is looking for a fastball, and it really doesn't matter how hard you throw. He's having a good year. He's got 31 homers.
Santana this year also starting to hit leadoff. In fact, the first game he did this year was against the Tigers, and he homered. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Huge out there for Green. Let's check in now with the game break at Johnny Kane. That's not good news, Johnny. Thanks. Here's the wild card right now. Baltimore, Toronto, 80 and 66. Tigers 2 out. Seattle right on their heels. There is ball 1 to Jason Kipnis. Well, it's strike 1 to Jason Kipnis, despite what Foxcrack said, and despite that look on Kipnis' face. Single walk, 2 runs scored. Now it's 0-2.
It's a good fastball there. At 94 miles an hour, swing back variety. Caught the inside corner.
See if Kipnis will reach. He will not. Green didn't make that pitch tempting enough. Runner at third is Almonte. 2 outs, a run in. Kipnis came into this game having struggled 4 for his last 24. I mentioned the Indians as a team were struggling on their last road trip, just 228, but they got to Michael Fulmer tonight for 6 of the 7 runs. Indians magic number down to 11 entering play tonight. Just off the plate. And it's 2-2. Lindor on deck. Full count now. And so Green now has gone 21 pitches here in the 6th. Fulmer left the game having thrown 100 in 5 innings.
Fulmer just about threw 20 pitches per inning tonight himself. 5 innings. Fulmer threw 100 pitches tonight.
And Michael was just 10 of 24 in first pitch strikes. Little slow roller hit to the third base side. Romine guns him down. That'll end the inning. A run in though for Cleveland. We go to the 7th. Inning, 7 hits and 6 runs. Corey Kluber, meanwhile, was cruising along until Upton got him again for another homer.
Yeah, Justin Upton's really been the only one that's been able to get to Kluber here tonight. A couple of two-seam fastballs he's left up in the strike zone, and Jay Up has put a couple of good swings on him.
So the Tigers offense goes back to work here, down 7-4 now. Romine leads it off, the number 9 hitter. And he'll take a ball from Kluber. Romine fly ball and a ground out. Andrew looks at a strike. Upper reaches of the strike zone, 1-1.
And Tim Timmons, his strike zone has been all over the place tonight. Up, in, out, down.
Soft line drive, fair ball down the left field line, going to go to the corner. Romine is on his way to second, and that is a lead-off double. Romine's first hit of the night.
It's a pretty nice job by Romine. Little two-seam fastball kind of tailing away from him. And he just slices it over the head of the third baseman, Ramirez, down in the left field corner for a stand-up double.
Tigers have their 5th hit of the night. They'll bring up Kinsler. Ian is 0 for 3 against Kluber.
Everything that Kluber has thrown to Ian so far tonight has been away from him.
And again, he stays away. Tigers have only 1 hit with the man in scoring position, and that was the 3-run shot by Justin Upton. There's activity. Shaw and Andrew Miller. Kinsler, ground ball up the middle. Kipnis, and the runner will advance, 1 out. Well, tickets for a potential wild card in American League Division Series games at Comerica go on sale this Thursday at noon. Tickets sold exclusively at Tigers.com, so check it out online and get potential wild card and ALDS game tickets. Here's Cameron Maben. Seven runs, 9 hits Indians, 4 runs, 5 hits Tigers. Maben is 0 for 3. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. Pretty good homestand for Maben. It was .333, 8 hits on that last homestand. Two.
Brad's done a nice job with Cameron since he's come back with that thumb injury. And he plays him a few days and he gives him a day off to regroup, as he did yesterday at Comerica Park. That thumb's not going to get well until the season is over.
No, and you have to manage it, and Cameron doesn't want to come out of the lineup. He knows he's going to have to play hurt the rest of the year, and has been able to still give the Tigers really good at bats. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Maben is down on strikes. 2 gone now, and that'll bring up Cabrera.
It's a fastball at 94 miles an hour that ran up and in on Cam. Cam couldn't catch up to it.
Kluber now with his 7th strikeout of the ball game. Here is Miggy.
And Perez, the catcher, just came back from the pitcher's mound having a conversation with Corey Kluber, asking him how he wanted to pitch to Miguel Cabrera this time around. Miguel came into play hitting .500 against Corey Kluber, 21 for 42. with lots of extra base damage.
Fly out and a strikeout in this game. He stays away. Ball 1. Bruce Rondon in the Detroit bullpen.
Bruce Almighty.
He has been lately, hasn't he?
He has been. It's been legit.
Outside as Kluber again stays away from Miguel.
Kind of like what Brad is doing in this game. They're trailing by 3, but he continues to use his better relievers. He used Green in the 6th. He looks like he's going to use Rondon in the 7th, hoping that they can keep the score where it's at, so the Tigers can somehow try to score a few more runs here today.
2-0 is outside. 3-0.
Nothing even close to the plate.
Well, if he puts Cabrera on, you suddenly bring the tying run to the plate.
Well, you wonder if Terry Francona will take him out of the game and go Andrew Miller and turn Victor Martinez around.
I think you're probably right. Miller is good to go if needed. Now Mickey swatting away at the midges. See what Kluber does here on 3-0.
Better not get it too close. Maybe you'll swing at it. Ooh.
Man.
Little cutter, 89. That's a good pitch to hit. I don't think you want to throw that one there.
All right, what does he do on 3-1 here?
You better not throw that same pitch right there.
Swing and a miss. And Miguel couldn't hold up on a pitch out of the strike zone. Now it's 3-2.
That slider must be an outstanding pitch tonight for Fulmer, because we watched right-hander after right-hander swing at this exact same pitch. He's disguising it like it's a fastball until the last 5 feet. And then you saw that. That was a great shot there. You saw the ball almost like it was paused there right before the plate. Then all of a sudden, wham, it just goes to that outside corner.
Here comes the crowd now. 3-2 on Cabrera. Swing and a foul ball at home plate.
Like Kluber came back with his best fastball of the night, understanding that it probably would be his final pitch.
Well, this next one is going to be number 100. Romine at third with 2 outs. And again the 3-2. That breaking ball up, and Cabrera pounded it back out of play.
He got away with one there. Miggy shaking his head at Kluber.
The most stress that Kluber has had. 23 pitch 4th. Breaking ball is popped up. Shallow right field for Almonte, and that is that. Tigers will waste a leadoff double here in the 7th. Coming up, the McLaren Health Plan 7th inning stretch.
5th inning. Then it was Jay Up once again and going to straightaway center field for his second of the game against Corey Kluber.
Jay Up better than 800 feet of homers tonight. He's had a big night. Now the Tigers will bring in a wall-side windows pitching change, Bruce Rondon.
And last 10 innings pitched for Rondon. He's given up just 4 hits and he's punched out 13. He gets it done with a fastball and it gets up to 100 miles an hour, but his average heater is probably about 97. He also has a really good slider that he's had an outstanding feel for the last couple of weeks, and an occasional changeup.
Middle of the lineup here for the Indians. Lindor leads it off, and he sprays the first one foul back out of play at 95 from Big Bruce.
Rondon also does a real nice job of hiding the baseball. He has that ball in his glove, and he just kind of wiggles around to make sure that the hitters, and they can't pick up what pitch he wants to throw at any particular time, and he leaves it in the glove a long time.
Late swing there by Lindor. 0-2. Had a single, stole a base, scored a run in the first. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Shane Green gave up a run in the 6th, and now Rondon here in the 7th inning.
They're going fastball upstairs here to Lindor.
Wafted in the air toward left, right at J.Up. What do you think about these next two, Rod? Of course, there's still a long way to go in this one, but you got a couple of pretty good pitching matchups.
Well, Verlander's got to be Verlander, and he owes the Cleveland Indians anyway. They beat up on him pretty good the last time he had a start in this ballpark, and I think after that day, that's when he said, I'm going to dominate, and he went on to dominate after that start that night he had here in Cleveland. Then you got Carrasco going for them, Norris and Bauer.
So the upcoming matchups presented by Gordon Chevrolet. So with one out, here is Napoli. Napoli with 4 RBIs tonight, 2-run double, a walk, 2-run homer.
And Napoli looking for that mid-90s fastball. Bruce threw him that 83-mile-per-hour slider.
Heater at 98, caught the inside corner.
You can't do much with that if you're Napoli. If you'd have tried to hit that pitch, you would have sawed your bat in half.
Came back with a breaking ball, and Napoli just got a piece of it. The flashes from Rondon are there. I mean, this is the fastball slider combination that he possesses is wipeout stuff when he is on. And as the season has progressed here, Brad has used him later and later in games. Another breaking ball. This one line foul. He left that one up. Good catch.
You don't see Rondon do what he just did before delivering the ball. It looked like he got a little too cute on the mound in this last pitch. Kind of turned his back a little bit and hung a breaking ball. Napoli almost got it.
Whoa. Alrighty then. That's got the crowd riled up a little bit.
Yeah, that one just slipped out of his hand.
Zoop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We'll dive into the dirt. 2-2 now on Napoli. 7-4, the Indians lead. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Game 1 in this 3-game series. Tigers, after this one, have 6 left against the Tribe. Drill to left field. It is going to get down and go to the wall. Upton gets over there quickly. Napoli's going to have to hold. Nice job by J.Up. 1-out single.
He hung Napoli slider after slider after slider, and finally Napoli caught up with one of those sliders and whistled it off the gate and left. And hit it so hard he could only get a single.
They'll bring up Ramirez. Napoli, meanwhile, with his 3rd hit of the night on base for the 4th time. Thought about going, but made the wise choice. Tenth hit of the night now for Cleveland. Two flyouts and a walk for Jose Ramirez. Ramirez came in much better at home this year. .340 in this ballpark.
I was surprised to learn when I was doing some homework at the hotel today on just why this team is so good at home with their home record, nearly 25 games over 500. Then you start to look at some of the offensive players, their splits. For whatever reason, they do not do well on the road at all, but they clobber the ball in this ballpark.
That's why home field for them in the postseason, should they get there, would be big. There goes the runner. Now Bruce just simply steps off, throws down, and the tag is made, and Napoli is out of there.
That's a nice job there by Rondon. Didn't panic at all. What happened, a balk?
Oh, my goodness.
It was called by the 3rd base umpire, Pat Holborn.
What in the world? Napoli just ran off the field.
And the balk was called late.
Yeah, if you're going to call a balk on that play, I mean, it's got to be really late, because they called the runner out at second. So who saw the balk? Holbert?
Holbert called it.
Let's see. Stepped off, didn't he?
Yeah, he stepped off, but I'm wondering if he moved prematurely before that.
So no caught stealing there. That's going to be a balk, apparently.
Take one more look at it, see if we can figure out what he did.
Set position.
Oh, they called the balk on when he kind of came up and down.
Yeah.
After the set position. You could clearly hear the umpire calling balk.
Boy, that was so minute. But he moved. 2-0 the count. Here's a bender that drops in on the outside corner. 2-1 now on Lindor.
One more listen here. Actually, it sounded like they were saying step off.
Yeah. Ramirez shoots it foul, back out of play. Level the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the Indians' 3rd baseman. Napoli singles, advances to second on what turned out to be a balk. Here's the 2-2.
This guy's just a tough out.
Yep. And this is where he's made his money. We've talked about it early in the game. His average with runners in scoring position, 352.
He's hitting over 300. He has 10 homers. He steals bases. What a year this young man has had.
And boy, have they needed it with the absence of Michael Brantley. Way outside as McCann leaves his crouch to go get it. 3-2.
Here's what you were talking about earlier. The drastic difference in
last season. 219, 310 this year. The extra base hits way up. The ribbies way up. He's a major reason why this team is in first place by 6 games.
Now Bruce with the 3-2. Pulled on the ground and threw a base hit. Napoli rounding third. They're going to send him home. JD's throw will go to second, and he did it again.
He just has a knack for driving in runs.
And the balk is huge. The Indians now lead 8-4.
He went down and got himself a pretty good breaking ball here on the 3-2 count thrown by Rondon. I mean, that ball is down and in, and all he did was played pepper with the baseball right past a diving Miguel Cabrera to drive in his 68th run of the year.
So Ramirez at first now for Coco Crisp. The 11th hit of the night for Cleveland. There goes Ramirez, big jump. Here comes McCann's throw, not in time. Wasting little time was Ramirez. He got a huge jump. McCann, no shot there.
And usually when a guy gets that big a jump like Ramirez got, you see the catcher when they throw, they rush and they open up prematurely, and then that ball tails on him.
First stolen base of the year now for Ramirez. Chris trying to knock him in.
Indians got themselves a pretty good player in Coco Crisp, and to help him out down the stretch. He's an older veteran player, but a switch hitter, good defender, gets on base, been in the postseason.
It's on those Oakland teams that the Tigers played seemingly every year in the postseason.
Right. Those were great games.
Crisp was acquired on August 31st, so he is eligible for the postseason for the Indians. One ball in, one strike. Way inside, and a backhanded play by McCann. So that is the 20th pitch of this inning now for Rondon. So the Tigers have thrown quite a few tonight. 105 innings for the starter Fulmer.
Yeah, just about everybody that's taken the mound for the Tigers tonight has had a 20-pitch inning. Green did. Fulmer did it 5 times. Fulmer had the 1 inning where he just threw a few, but other than that, he had 4 20 and above.
Outside, and now the count goes 3-1. Andrew Miller has that look like he's coming in the 8th. Bruce trying to battle through the 7th. Big balk call setting up a run for the Indians. Strike called. Chris thought he had a walk. That one caught the outer edge right in the corner. Chris could still hit for some power. He has 12 home runs this year.
He's also done a nice job with runners in scoring position when he was playing for the Oakland Athletics. A veteran hitter.
Low and man supply in the Tigers pen. And he got him, strike 3. Chris knew it. It's right back to the bench. 2 gone.
I don't don't know if Coco Crisp was looking for an off-speed pitch or what, but he took that fastball that was tailing inside on him, inside corner.
So with 2 outs, here is Tyler Naquin. Indians got 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, now 1 in the 7th. Naquin swings and misses.
Rondon throwing a lot of sliders in this particular inning. Rondon usually has a lot of confidence in his fastball, but for whatever reason, since he's been out there in the 24 pitches, a lot of those have been off-speed pitches.
Bruce now about to throw his 25th pitch of the night. The 0-1. Lofted in the air to center field. Here comes Maven on the run. He'll get there, and that'll end the inning. However, they get a run, and we'll go to the 8th when Justin Upton will bat 3rd, going for his 3rd home run of the night. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire.
The Indians are having the success they're enjoying without their best player. Michael Brantley is absolutely startling. But young Tyler Naquin told me earlier today that Brantley is always around the clubhouse, very supportive, doing what he can to keep the team up. They thought they were going to get Yan Gomes, the veteran catcher, back today. He sustained a broken hand in his last rehab start at AA, and so he probably will not play again. And then Lonnie Chisenhall has an abdominal injury, and Terry Francona saying earlier today they want to be very careful with that. So if he plays, he doesn't re-injure it. The Indians certainly looking toward the postseason right now. Mario, right?
They are indeed, Keats, and a big reason why right here is Andrew Miller, one of their acquisitions at the trading deadline.
And 62 games this year between New York and Cleveland, a 1.66 ERA, 22 holds. Take a look at the strikeouts. 106 strikeouts, and he's only walked 8 batters. I mean, really?
He'll face Victor Martinez here.
And he does it with 2 pitches. And he will throw his fastball about 37% of the time, and the rest of that is sliders.
Victor is 1 for 2, hit by pitch in his last at bat. He'll take outside again. Miller now has gone 2-0.
You know, Andrew Miller, Mario, is one of those guys as a starting pitcher. He really struggled trying to find a consistent arm slot, throw the ball over the plate consistently. But then he went to Boston and started pitching out of the bullpen in Boston and started pitching from the stretch only. And then he started throwing strikes with that simple delivery that we see so many guys now trotting out of the bullpen with. Not a lot of moving parts. kind of changed his career path.
He was a starter in Detroit and with the Marlins, and then went to the bullpen with the Red Sox. And there's a ball outside. He lost him on 4 straight. Well, Vicker is on to get things started here in the 8th. Bring up J.D. Martinez. Corey Kluber done after 7, gives way to Miller here in the 8th. Almonte will move to left field in this game, and Coco Crisp is out of the ball game. They got Martinez at right. And JD takes ball 1. That's 5 straight that have missed from Miller.
Now look at the youngster here in the infield, Lindor. The youngest member of the infield, Lindor, the shortstop's the one that goes out to the mound to calm down the veteran here, Andrew Miller.
JD fly out, strikeout, ground out. Tigers down 8-4. We're in the 8th. Ball 2 missing inside. 6 in a row. There's a strike. Inside part of the plate. Upton will be next. Swing and a miss. 2-2 now on JD.
There's that slider that Andrew Miller will throw 67% of the time at 84 miles an hour.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. So he comes back to strike out J.D. Martinez.
Well, just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, and it is brought to you by Miller Lite. The Tigers have scored 4 runs in the game today, courtesy of Justin Upton in the 2nd inning. It was a solo shot against Corey Kluber, and then he did it again later in the contest. It's a 3-run shot against Corey Kluber.
Well, Upton standing in there now with 1 on, 1 out. And J-Up looks at a ball inside. 1-0. Miller had 36 saves a couple of years ago, actually last year. Way inside, and buckling out of the way is Upton. 2-0. He continues to have trouble throwing strikes. There you go. Just about everything has missed the strike zone. That one's right down the middle. Action in the Tigers bullpen. Mantiply, Wilson. Here's the 2-1. Strike called in the outside corner. 2-2.
Man, did he wrap that one around the plate. That ball was at least 6 inches off the plate until it got toward home plate and somehow got enough of that corner to get a strike call from Tim Timmons.
Here's the 2-2, and it's fouled back out of play. See the size of that spider that was trying to crawl into the booth here?
I did see the size of that spider. Thank you very much for getting rid of it.
I saw the petrified look on your face. I couldn't figure it out. 2-2. Fouled away again. 95 that time from Miller. What a weapon he's been for the Cleveland Indians. Really one of the biggest pickups. You might recall they almost got Jonathan Lucroy at the trading deadline as well.
Yeah, they went all in at the trade deadline. Lucroy did not want to come to Cleveland. He landed in Texas.
I don't think he went. Negative. 3-2. Ibar due next.
Yeah, Miller's thrown 16 pitches, and he's thrown more balls than strikes.
Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Upton is out on strikes. There's 9 strikeouts now for Cleveland pitching.
Miller has 110 strikeouts this year. 110 strikeouts, and he's only walked 8 batters.
That just doesn't seem possible.
It does not. $14 strikeouts per 9 innings since the beginning of the 2013 season, which is the second best number in the majors. And that would be behind his former teammate, Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah. Ibar is 1 for 3. And he looks at a ball low and outside. 1-1. So while the command here by Miller has not been spot on, he's been able to get a couple of strikeouts after falling behind Martinez. And then he struck out Upton. Rolled foul. The count now 1-2 on Ibar.
I did not realize that his slider usage was at as high as it is, though. I mean, very few fastballs, even though he throws 95 miles an hour. Saltalamacchi, he must be a manager now. He's always over there talking to Brad during the game.
Yeah, you know it. I think you're right. Bouncing ball right side, stab there. They're going to go to second and get the force. Alert play there by Napoli. He knew he had a slow runner. And the inning is over. No runs, a walk. 1 man left. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here in Cleveland, where we travel to the bottom of the 8th. It is 8-4 in favor of the Indians tonight. And now the Tigers going back to the bullpen. It'll be the left-hander Joe Mantiply coming on.
And Mantiply pitching in his 5th game since being called up from the minor leagues. He's only logged Just over 2 innings, giving up a couple of runs. His whip sits at 1.50. A couple of strikeouts, no walks for Mantiply.
He will face Abraham Almonte to lead it off. And Perez, then Santana. The first one is in for a strike, 0-1.
And Mantiply has a fastball that will top out at about 90 miles an hour. He also has a slider. And a changeup. No curveball for Mantiply.
Swing and a miss. Mantiply came up on September the 3rd from AA Erie.
It's a huge jump, man. You go from riding the buses in the bushes to riding on private planes.
In a pennant race. Private planes is right. A whole lot smoother of a ride than those buses. High and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Getting a little extra meal money these days, too.
Mantiply got that little envelope yesterday, probably went straight to the bank.
He probably did. Deposit some of this.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And I don't blame him either.
He probably got more meal money in one road trip than they got all year down there.
Single double for Almonte in this game. Here's the 2-2. High, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the Tigers fell behind 6-1 in this ball game, but Justin Upton gave them life. A 3-run thunderbolt in the 6th, the home run to make it 6-4. Suddenly the Tigers were back in it. But the Indians coming back with a couple of runs, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th.
Every time the Tigers would score a run or 2, and the Indians would counter in the bottom half of their inning.
Almonte had a big double in the 6th inning. There's a walk. Leadoff man on here in the 8th. Well, the most popular way to follow the Tigers and their postseason push is with the MLB.com at Bat app, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and the proverbial whole lot more. Again, MLB.com at Bat on your favorite devices now. Brad Ausmus on the bat phone there. Tiger bullpen has been working most of the night because Fulmer went 5, throwing 100 pitches. Got a pinch runner now.
Is that Rajay?
Rajay Davis.
And Terry Francona must be trying to get out of grand slam distance. They have a 4-run lead. A lot of managers like to have that 5-run lead going into the final frame, which puts you out of grand slam distance. Rajay has 37 steals this year, which leads the American League, and he's 35 years old.
Still has the oven mitt.
Fearless base stealer.
And Perez looks at a ball high, 1-0. Sack fly for Perez back in the 6th. He's also laid down a sack bunt. Pretty good production tonight, and their #9 hitter. Big lead by Rajay.
Active leaders as far as the stolen bases are concerned. Ichiro leads the way, and followed by Jose Reyes. There's Rajay, and then Michael Bourne. We just saw Michael Bourne with the Baltimore Orioles.
Ichiro with 500 steals.
I saw that.
500 steals.
Ichiro has had a marvelous career in the United States. He didn't come to the States until he was 28 years old, and now has over 3,000 hits stateside.
Mantiply ready with the 1-0. Oh, they got him picked off. Rajay on his way to second. Throw down into center field. Davis gets up. He's going to try for third. Upton's throw there. Not in time. That turned out about as badly as you could expect it to. They had him picked off.
Well, Miggy did everything right. Miggy came to get the ball, which you're supposed to do on the pickoff play, and then he threw it down towards second base. But take a look at Rajay Davis kind of running in the view here of Ian Kinsler back toward the base, and because of that, Ian could pick up the throw, which is a poor throw, and then Rajay able to get up alertly and then scoot over to third base.
Now the infield coming in with a man at third. Nobody out. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike on Roberto Perez. Davis calling time down at third base. Supplying a jam here in the 8th. Low. Ball 2. Davis came out a pinch run for El Monte. Stole a base, went to third on a bad throw. 3 Tigers errors tonight. 2-2 now on Perez. First of 3 between these two teams. It'll be Carrasco Verlander tomorrow. That game can be seen on FS1. Ball 3 high. 3-2. Santana on the top of the order waiting on deck. Line drive to left, base hit. That'll get a run in. Davis will score as an RBI single for Perez, and now it's a 5-run ball game.
Indeed, they are now out of grand slam distance.
RBI of the year for Perez.
Look at that smile on Rajay's face.
Well, he didn't start this game, but he certainly contributed.
They had a lot of fun. It's a bad dude.
Yeah, that's not good.
I guess when you're in first place, you can do
Doesn't matter, I suppose. Wear whatever you want, wear it how you want.
Yeah.
1 ball, no strikes on Santana. It's the 12th hit of the night now for the Indians. Santana's had a 2-run single. Bouncing ball to right, base hit. That'll get Perez to second, and the first 3 Indians have reached here in the 8th.
These Indians are relentless in this ballpark against the Tigers. Man, they just don't stop.
It's 13 hits now. It's going to bring Rich Doobie out. Tigers have action in their bullpen. It is marked low. It's a long meeting here, and the clock has gone down to 0 now. That means Doobie has to leave, and home plate umpire Tim Timmons kicks him out. 9-4 ball game now. First and second, and nobody out. And the Tigers leaning on Mantiply here to get him through the 8th. Here is Kipnis. Ball 1. There's Brantley. He's with his teammates.
To hanging out in the bullpen?
Apparently. They got better food down there in the bullpen. Better snacks.
Yeah, you don't get watched by the manager down there either. Yeah.
Much easier. Swinging a foul there by Kipnis. 1 ball and 1 strike. So now the Indians have scored in each of the last 4 innings after the 3-run shot by Justin Upton tightened it up to 6-4. One and 2. Lindor waiting on deck. Tigers in the top of the 9th have McCann, Romine, Kinsler due up, and if anybody gets on, Maben. There's still a lot of work to be done here in the 8th. 2 on, nobody out. Fought that one off. Boy, the Tigers have thrown a lot of pitches tonight, Rod. In fact, they've gone at least 20 pitches in 78 innings.
Yeah, the only inning that they didn't throw 20 was that 7-pitch inning that Fulmer had while he was in the game.
And Mike Fulmer, by the way, gave up 6 runs in this ball game tonight.
Didn't have it tonight, but you like the way that he still stayed out there and battled through the 5 innings, even though he didn't have his A game tonight.
Driven in the air to right field. Martinez on the run. JD still going back. Can't get it.
Yeah.
It'll bounce into the seats for a ground rule double. Another run will score for the Indians. And it's 10-4 Cleveland.
It's a breaking ball that stayed on the inner third of home plate to the left-handed batting Kipnis, and he got just enough of it to hit it over JD's head. It bounced on the warning track and into that happy fan's hands.
78th RBI for Kipnis.
They're going to walk Lindor.
That's going to load the bases. Francisco Lindor getting the intentional base on balls. By the way, that is the 3rd time now this year that the Indians have scored 10 or more against the Tigers in the season series.
They've been wearing them out, man. They have absolutely worn them out.
3rd time that Lindor has been walked intentionally this year.
3rd?
Yeah.
I was wondering how many. It's going to be the last pitch that Mantiply throws, and it'll be low. And that will have to come in and get Napoli out.
And so the intentional walk will load the bases. And bring out Brad. And it's going to bring in Lowe. So Mantiply will face a total of 5 batters. Was unable to record an out. Tigers go back to the bullpen. We'll be back. 2-4 is our score as we play here in the 8th inning. Bases loaded, still nobody out for the Tribe. And the Tigers, well, they just have not been able to get anything going against the Indians, who are now on pace to score 125 runs against the Tigers this year. That's their pace. 1959, you got to go back that far to see that kind of a pace against the Tigers.
That's 57 years ago.
Good man, good job. Well, Napoli is going to face the new pitcher Mark Lowe.
And tough job here for Lowe. And Napoli's already had a wonderful game. He has driven in 4 runs today already with a double and a 2-run homer. And he'll be looking for a first pitch fastball.
Lowe with major issue to deal with here. The bases loaded and nobody out.
And Napoli also 2 RBIs shy of 100.
Here's the 0-1. Low missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mike Napoli. Tigers tonight have gone with Shane Green, Bruce Rondon, Joe Mantiply, and now Mark Lowe. Two and 1. Tigers tonight have been out hit 14-5. Way outside and no place to put him. 3-1 on Napoli. $29,137 the attendance here tonight in Cleveland. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss. 3-2 on Napoli.
All 5 pitches that he has thrown so far to Napoli have all been away. If you do go away again, you can't leave it up in the strike zone, because I'm sure Napoli's looking out there after 5 consecutive pitches in the same area.
Got him. Strike 3. Napoli caught looking.
And that breaking ball backed up on Lowe and stayed inside. And indeed, Napoli was looking away.
So 1 out now, and here is Jose Ramirez. That was the 31st pitch of the inning to get the first out. Ramirez sends one in the air to center field. On the move is Maben. This will be deep enough to get a run in. Scoring on the play to make it 11-4.
How about how these guys are running the bases, though? Did you see Kipnis?
He moved up as soon as Santana scored. He motored to third.
I mean, he got back to second base to tag up on that ball and get over to third base. They're up by 7 runs already.
11-4 ball game. 3-run 8th. First and third now, and Michael Martinez will bat his first at bat of the ball game. Martinez came on defensively, batting .258 for the year. popped him up. McCann discards the mask, back toward the screen, holds on to win the inning. But it's a big inning for the Indians. They tack on 3 more. We go to the 9th, 11-4.
Sam, call of the game. Couple of big shots tonight off the bat of Justin Upton.
Here's the 0-2. Driven to right center field. That ball is hit well. It's got a chance to go, and it does. Upton put a charge into that one to right center on an 0-2 pitch, and the Tigers are on the board. Upton hammers one in the air to center field. That ball is way back. It is up, and it is gone.
Look out, JL.
Justin Upton, his second home run of the night, and the Tigers are right back in it. Well, Upton's second home run made it a 6-4 ball game, but the Tigers now find themselves down 11-4 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Dan Otero comes on now for the Tribe.
Otero's had a nice year. And quietly in that bullpen, his whip is under 1, 50 strikeouts. He's only walked 10. He's been in 57 games. His earned run average sits at just a shade over 1.5. He was a pretty good pitcher when he was in Oakland, too.
Yeah. Well, he's going to face McCann here, then Romine, and then Kinsler. And the first one is hit for a strike. 9th inning is underway. $11 runs, 14 hits Indians, 4 runs, 5 hits Tigers. They'll slide low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. McCann in the ball game tonight. Walk, otherwise 0 for 2. Changes. Eric Gonzalez is at third now. Jesus Aguilar is at first base.
Aguilar,
Swing
big
and miss.
fella.
He's a big boy down there first. Big boy.
Look like he should be playing on Sunday.
He just won. You never know. They're playing home Sunday here.
He might be lining up.
One gone. Here's Romine. They'll get back out of play on 1. Looks like Stephen Moya has moved on deck.
Hit for Ian.
Hit for Kinsler, correct. I want to say Moya got his first major league hit at this ballpark a couple of years ago. The bouncer to second base. That'll be routine there for Kipnis. And there are 2 gone. So here is Moya to bat for Kinsler. Tigers down to their last out. They will drop 7 back. The Indians put this one away here, leading at 11-4 in the ninth. And Moya fouls it away, 0-1. Moya looks at a ball inside. 1 ball in, 1 strike. Two and 1 the count. Fourth different stint this year for Moya with the big club. Swing and a miss.
Some nasty breaking ball there thrown by Otero. Sinker slider for the most part. Everything's got some outstanding movement on it.
The 2-2. Moya stays alive. Steven hit 20 homers in the minor leagues this year. 5 more at the major league level. John Adams trying to wrap up a win here for the Tribe.
He's beating the drums and Mrs. Adams is clapping the hands.
Swing and a miss. And the Tigers go 1-2-3 in the ninth. Indians a winner. Final score 11-4. Now we send you to the Call Sand Studios. Johnny Kane standing by with Tigers Live.